Fall foliage signals the renewal of the Alabama-Tennessee football border war. The Crimson Tide with coach Bear Bryant and quarterback Joe Namath dominated in the 60s and 70s. Player and coach Johnny Majors led the Vols, and most recently, Peyton Manning turned the tide in Tennessee's favor. The Vols have won 3 straight games against Alabama, sparking a traditional victory celebration. In 1998, Tennessee has been one of the surprising teams in the nation. The Vols have skipped the rebuilding process on their way to a #3 national ranking. Now a repeat SEC championship is within their grasp, and perhaps a run at the national title as well. Under second-year coach Mike DuBose, the Crimson Tide is a team in search of an identity. But with Sean Alexander to carry the load, better days could be ahead. Renewing a rivalry that began in 1901, it's Alabama versus Tennessee. NASDAQ College Football on CBS Sports. The traditions of fall here in the East Tennessee Valley, the changing colors in the hills. The pride of the Southland marching band, 300 strong. Smokey, the Tennessee mascot. And for the 81st time, it's Alabama versus Tennessee. We welcome you live inside Neyland Stadium. More than 100,000 fans in attendance. And another tradition, the opening of the tee. To form the tunnel through which the Tennessee Volunteers enter the field. The Vols ready to put their perfect record on the line today. Tennessee enters at 5-0. Ranked #3 in the nation. The other end of the field, the Crimson Tide of Alabama. With a record of 4-2, they enter this game on a 2-game winning streak. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough. It's great to have you with us for many years, most of this decade, in fact. When you said the 3rd Saturday in October in this part of the country, it meant Alabama against Tennessee in football. They played on that date for 66 straight years. Well, the schedule has changed around a bit. That happened 3 years ago, but this is still a great traditional and historic rivalry. It's also a meaningful football game this year for Tennessee. A victory keeps the Volunteers in command in the SEC's Eastern Division and right at the forefront of the national championship picture. And Alabama coach Mike DuBose says his team is still looking for that one big victory, then get the Crimson Tide program turned back around. I'm joined as always by Terry Donahue. Coach, all season long we've been talking about Tennessee and the offense, but lately the defense has been tremendous.
Well, Tennessee is an awfully good defensive team, Sean, because they're strong right up the middle. And it all starts with their middle linebacker, Al Wilson. He's a great blitzer. He causes a lot of tackles for losses, puts a lot of quarterbacks under pressure. In addition, he's caused 4 fumbles this year already. He's the emotional leader of this defensive team. And behind Al Wilson is a fine safety by the name of Deion Grant. Now, Deion Grant gives them a great center fielder, a guy who can cover from sideline to sideline. He's got excellent hands, and he allows the Tennessee corners to overplay routes. If they get beat deep inside, Deion Grant's there to cover for them.
When you think about Alabama, you think about pounding the football at the opposition on offense. Not this year. They've gone to a spread attack.
Well, and they have 4 and 5 wide receivers spread across the field, and when you do that, the game falls on the shoulders of the quarterback. Today, Andrew Zhao, a freshman. He has never lost a game as a starting quarterback, whether he's been in high school or college. He has to handle the pressure that the Tennessee defense is going to apply today. He's got to lay the ball out to his outlet receivers and make sure that Sean Alexander, his tailback, touches the ball at least 25 times. Sean Alexander is a good runner, an excellent receiver coming out of the backfield, a good solid blocker, but he's got to have a good day for the Tide offense to be successful against this Tennessee defense.
Alabama won the toss and deferred, so Tennessee elected to receive the opening kickoff. Alabama leads the all-time series. This has been a very streaky series. Tennessee has won the last 3, but that ended a stretch during which Alabama went 8-0-1 against the Vols. Peerless Price back for the opening kickoff from Mark Wisniewski. And Price is pushed out of bounds near the 24-yard line, and that's where the Volunteers begin on offense. Led by T. Martin, the junior from Mobile, Alabama. He hasn't been called upon to carry the load as a passer. As a matter of fact, the Alabama coaches say they're more concerned with Martin as a runner when he pulls it down and takes off than they are with his throwing skills. And he has Travis Stevens lined up as the tailback, Sean Bryson the fullback in the eye on the first play from scrimmage. And it's Stevens straight ahead, and he ran into Kenny Smith. Travis Stevens starting his second game this year for Tennessee. He took over for Jamal Lewis, who went down for the season with a knee injury. Suffered 2 games ago against Auburn. Stevens and his backup Travis Henry were both terrific in their victory in Athens against Georgia 2 weeks ago.
And Sean, one of the themes for the Alabama defense today is to stop Tennessee on first down, which they just did very successfully with an 8-man front.
See a lot of 8-man fronts from Alabama today. Martin after the fake has a man wide open. Jermaine Copeland out of bounds with a first down at the 44. Chased out by Kelf Bailey. That's a gain of 22 on the completion to the senior from Harriman, Tennessee. Just the 10th catch of the year for Copeland.
When you're playing against an arch rival like this game is between Tennessee and Alabama, you want to slow a defense down with counter plays. The quarterback starts one way, the entire defense flows that way. All of a sudden he fools everybody. The quarterback comes out the other way wide open, finds Jermaine Copeland down the sideline for the big gain. Counter plays slows defenses down.
1st and 10 Volunteers. Quick drop by Martin. Out in the flat, it's caught by Cedric Wilson. He eluded a tackle and went out of bounds at the Alabama 41-yard line. Tony Dixon shoved him out. 7th catch of the year for Wilson, a sophomore from Memphis, a gain of 16. Here are the backs and receivers starting the game for Tennessee. Peerless Price is their leading receiver. Eric Diagu, the tight end, does not have a catch this year. And up front, the offensive line has been terrific, and it's bolstered this week by the return of right tackle Jarvis Rito, who's been out since their game against Houston with a fractured foot. They're not certain he's at 100%, but he does start today. They think Posey Coleman, the right guard, is going to be an All-American someday. The handoff to Peerless Price. Alabama had a chance to get him behind the line of scrimmage, but missed yet another tackle. And Price turned it into a gain down to the 34-yard line. And here's the Alabama defense. Up front, it's Grimes, Smith, Carter, and Moorhead. Carter's down to 314 pounds. At one time, he was 350. The middle linebacker, Travis Carroll's one of their best players, but he's really banged up with a concussion suffered last week, a bad ankle and a bad shoulder. And in the secondary, a key loss, Kelvin Sigler. Their starting safety out for the year with a knee injury. He was their best defensive player, according to the coaches. Travis Stevens rips through. And Tennessee is marching right down the field to the 19-yard line with Stevens tackled by Tony Dixon. They're picking up yardage in large chunks. That was 15 more for Stevens.
Well, Sean, you've got to be impressed with the way Tennessee has started this game. They've started with a reverse, a play action pass. They've come here with the isolation play to the tailback, Stevens. They're playing real loose right now. And, you know, you expected Tennessee to come into the game kind of with their conservative running game and not play as loose as they certainly have started this game.
In 2 minutes, they've marched from their own 24 down inside the Alabama 20. Martin throws on the run. Caught again by Wilson. Wilson out of bounds at the 1-yard line. No, it's a depleted Alabama secondary without Kelvin Ziegler. And Philip Fulmer and his coaching staff thinks they have some matchups they can exploit today.
Well, Cedric Wilson, number 14, goes in motion, and the reason he does that is to get bump coverage off him. He doesn't want tight coverage, so Tennessee brought him across the formation, which loosens the defensive back. And as a result, the defensive back was too soft, and a big gain for Tennessee.
Martin on the keeper, touchdown.
Tennessee has dominated the offensive line from the very beginning. Right here, the offensive line with a good surge. T. Martin easily into the end zone because of the surge of that line.
Martin's second rushing touchdown of the season. It capped a 7-play drive. They went 76 yards in just 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Jeff Hall adds the extra point out of the hold of Benson Scott. A most impressive opening drive by the number 3 team in the nation. Ideal playing conditions and a great start for Tennessee. 64 degrees the temperature at kickoff. Not a cloud in the sky. It is indeed a perfect football day. Freddie Millens back for the kickoff from Jeff Hall. Virtually no breeze in the stadium. This is Arvin Richard trying to get all the way across the field. He reaches just the 10-yard line. It's an inspired Tennessee team this afternoon, and Andre Lott was first down on kickoff coverage.
Sean, there's no question Philip Fulmer has got his team ready to play today. The offense comes out in impressive fashion. Now the special teams kickoff coverage goes down, makes a big play. This is going to be important for Alabama to settle down and get something going here on an early drive.
They're led by redshirt freshman quarterback Andrew Zhao. His streak never having lost as a starting quarterback in high school or college will be seriously put to the test today. Sean Alexander running left. For a yard, perhaps 2. Al Wilson, the middle linebacker, racing across field as usual to run him out of bounds. Dustin McClintock will line up as a fullback, an H-back, and a tight end. Quincy Jackson and Calvin Hall started wide receiver in a 3-wideout set with Michael Vaughn. Up front, it is certainly a battle-tested offensive line. That entire group has played virtually every snap of every game this season for Alabama. They are painfully thin up front. And Chris Samuels, the left tackle, is the best of the group by far. That number is up to date, including the first touchdown this afternoon. 48-6 in the first quarter for Tennessee. Quincy Jackson took the quick pass. And he has an Alabama first down out of the 23-yard line. A gain of 12 in the completion. Here's the Tennessee defense, terrific this year, especially since the first game of the year against Syracuse. Ellis, Coleman, Walker, and Terry up front. Walker is their leading sack man. 3 of the top 5 tacklers on the defense are the linebackers. Wilson between Raynoch Thompson and Eric Westmoreland. And in the secondary, it's Dwayne Goodrich, Fred White, Deion Grant, and Steve Johnson. Alabama coaches most impressed with Wilson and Grant as they watch the tape and preparing for today's game with the Vols. 1 back, 2 wide receivers, and 2 tight ends. Alexander changed direction and slid ahead for a couple. Let's get an update on what has been a wild game between Georgia and Kentucky from Tim Brando.
It's always wild in the Commonwealth with Tim Couch on hand. A game-winning field goal try for Seth Hansen, but the snap from center is bad. Matt Mumme, the coach's son, can do nothing with it. Georgia survives the scare, gets ready for Florida and the old cocktail party next week, guys.
And we'll be in Jacksonville for the annual battle between Florida and Georgia. But it's obvious Hal Mumme's team is quickly getting better and better. The win at LSU last week and nearly the upset win at home today against Georgia. Movement along the line. And Darwin Walker came across first for Tennessee. We'll see if he was drawn.
So far, Sean, Alabama has certainly stayed with their offensive game plan. They're spreading the field with 4 and 5 wide receivers.
Ball before the snap. Offside. Out of defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat. Second down.
And Andrew Zhao, the quarterback, has done a nice job so far handling the pressure from the Tennessee defense. They're throwing the ball very quickly, getting rid of it fast before that pressure can get to them.
Alabama coaches said they cannot run east and west. They have to run straight up the field. The Tennessee defense is simply too quick. And they do indeed have to throw it quickly against this relentless pass rush. Zhao dumps it off over the middle. Short of a first down, it appears, is Eric Locke. He needed the 33. They banged him down at the 32. Jeff Coleman and Raynoch Thompson combined on the play for Tennessee. And lately, Tennessee has had its way against teams from the Southeastern Conference's West Division. 11 straight. The last team from the West to beat Tennessee, Alabama, back in 1994. That was a 17-13 Bama victory. SEC split into divisional play in 1992. 3rd down and 1. And it's Alexander ahead for a first down. He took Al Wilson for a ride and picked up the first down out of the 36-yard line.
Sean, that was a nice shift by the Alabama offense. They overshifted to the left and outnumbered the Tennessee defense. They really got them outflanked. The defense couldn't move quickly enough. That was excellent job by Neil Callaway, the offensive coordinator for Alabama.
And Mike Dubose demonstrated his approval. The 45-year-old head coach of the Tide in his second year with a record of 8-9. In a season and a half after 4-7 the first year last year. Alexander out to the 40-yard line. Raynoch Thompson made the tackle. Mike Dubose knew what he was getting into, longtime assistant coach at Alabama. And he knew about the problems that have really been brought on largely as a result of those NCAA sanctions that reduced their scholarship number. They're still not up to the total of 85 that's allowed. They have 82 players on scholarship right now. So Mike thinks if they give him time, they can get the numbers back, continue to recruit well, they will get this program turned around.
It just takes time to get your players in the program, and as you said, Sean, get your numbers back so you have some depth.
We've seen that problem at other places, including the University of Miami. Now, after a couple of pump fakes, threw it way over the head of Arvin Richard. An update on Missouri and Nebraska from Tim.
Sean and Terry, do you remember it was Nebraska's miracle in Missouri last year? Well, Corby Jones trying to return the favor for the guys from the Show Me State today. He's sacked, and after leading 13-6, Nebraska comes back to win it with Monte Cristo, a third-team walk-on, taking over for an ineffective Bobby Newcomb. Huskers win.
Well, Huskers not quite with the same swagger we've seen in recent years, and that Missouri loss hurts Ohio State in the bowl championship series rankings. The strength of schedule is factored in. And the Buckeyes have a non-league win over the Missouri Tigers. Zhao's pass too high for Quincy Jackson. And on 3rd down and 6, they failed to convert, and Alabama will punt it away.
You know, Sean, even though Alabama didn't get any points on that drive, it was a good opening drive for Alabama. They had poor field position. They've now worked the ball into good field position, and the Alabama offense was impressive. They made some yards against the Tennessee defense. They can move the ball today against this volunteer group.
It had to be uplifting for them that they did provide the time for Zhao, although obviously his mandate today is to get rid of the ball quickly. High booming punt by Daniel Pope, and Eric Parker returns to the 17-yard line. A 47-yard boot by Pope, the senior from Alpharetta, Georgia. Tennessee 7, Alabama nothing. Nearly midway through the first quarter. Tennessee marched impressively on its opening drive to score a touchdown. They're on offense for the 2nd time now. T. Martin throws to Sean Bryson, the fullback. He was tackled by Steve Stanley at the 21-yard line. Let's welcome in the 3rd member of our broadcast team. Here's Mike Mayock.
Thanks, Sean. One of the key components for Tennessee's offense is going to be motion from their flanker, also known as the Z. Here's what they're going to do. They'll motion him down here, stop it right here, and look for him to block and seal the corner. Secondly, they'll snap it when he's here and play a little game, man-to-man coverage, bump and run. Then they'll run him all the way across the field against press coverage, and what they're looking to do is give an advantage against the defensive back, and that's what you saw in the first series, Terry Donahue.
Very effectively, Travis Henry straight ahead.
Mike's 100% right, and David Cutcliffe, the offensive coordinator at Tennessee, told us yesterday that the reason they want to do that is, as Mike pointed out, you have to loosen up those defensive backs that want to bump and run and play tight coverage. And when you motion across the formation like that, that's exactly what it does. It loosens it up.
There's David.
Can't see him real
The
well.
glasses. Third down upcoming here, 3rd and 6. It's interesting, the new looks today from Tennessee, because when we talk about the Alabama defensive coaches, they said one thing about the preparation of Tennessee is they're not particularly complicated with their formations and the looks that they give you on offense. So they're seeing some new wrinkles perhaps they didn't expect today. Martin dragged down by Travis Carroll. The sophomore from Jacksonville, Florida, sacks Martin back at the 16-yard line. And you have to give Carroll credit. A lesser man wouldn't even be out there. As we mentioned earlier, he's been bothered by a concussion, a shoulder injury, and a bad ankle.
Well, he did a good job here, Sean, keeping containment on T. Martin. T. Martin is dangerous. When the protection breaks down, he starts to break the pocket. He is a dangerous player. That time, Travis Carroll hunted him down.
3rd sack of the year for Carroll. Was a parade All-American at the Bowl School in Jacksonville, Florida. Short punt by David Leverton. Ivan Richard has a lane along the near sideline. And he's down at the 34-yard line. Derek Edmonds made the tackle. A 35-yard punt and a 17-yard return. So great field position for Alabama.
And Sean, I think you have to credit the Alabama defense. Ellis Johnson, the defensive coordinator. You look at that first drive that Tennessee made. All of a sudden, he gets that defense over on the sideline, makes some adjustments. They go in there and play a lot better during that series.
1st and 10, Alabama. Alexander, the lone back. McClintock lined up as an H-back. And Alexander went ahead for 2 before he ran into the arms of Corey Terry. Terry's a senior from Warrenton, North Carolina. It'll be 2nd down. 9 yards to go for an Alabama 1st down. 6 minutes remaining, 1st quarter. 7-0 Tennessee. Ivan Richard now at 5'7", 175, lined up as the fullback in front of Alexander. Sean has room running to the right. And he's out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Deion Grant ran him out, but not before Alexander picked up 10 and a 1st down.
Terry Jones, the tight end, number 82, makes a good block, and Dustin McClintock, 30, the fullback, lead the way for Sean Alexander. And right now, from up here, it looks like the Alabama offensive line matches up pretty well against the Tennessee front.
When he carries it 20-plus times, he is generally very effective. When he's held to fewer than 20, his number's not as good. He lost the handoff there and had to fall on it. Back at the 24-yard line. That'll be a loss of 1 on the play. Alexander has had some big games, including the school record 291 yards a couple of years ago against LSU.
Well, Sean, he's capable of making long runs. Here he just does not get the exchange from Andrew Zal properly. I'm not sure whose fault it was, but you work on ball handling all during the week, but constantly throughout everybody's coaching career, you see those fumbles and you just die with them because all you want to do is exchange the ball properly.
2 wide receivers to the left. Play action fake. Zal had to get rid of it. Lofts it up, and it is incomplete. He was looking for Dustin McClintock, but Fred White was right there with him in a jump ball situation. And it looked like White had the better position, and Zhao got drilled by Sean Ellis as he threw it.
Well, and there's great pressure here by the Tennessee defense. This is what they're renowned for, but Zhao does an excellent job not taking the sack, particularly for a freshman quarterback. The pressure didn't get to him. He got rid of the ball quickly, and that's what he needs to do to keep Alabama out of a negative play.
In a long time since Tennessee has yielded a touchdown, 9 quarters, and they haven't given up a rushing touchdown in 16 quarters. 3rd down and 11 with 5 minutes left in the first quarter. Zhao throwing the fade too far, looking for Michael Vaughn. Derek Edmonds had the coverage, and the field goal unit comes on for the tie.
Andrew Zhao took a real hit at the end of the throw here by Sean Ellis, 93. A little shove there. Yeah, that should be roughing the quarterback. The referee is standing right there. He cannot miss that call.
Now that's way too late.
That's roughing the quarterback, and that's a clear violation. They unfortunately missed that for Alabama.
Ryan Flugner, the junior from Sarasota, the very strong leg. Daniel Pope, the punter, is the holder. This is a 41-yard try from the right hash mark. And it is perfect. Ryan Flugner gets the Crimson Tide on the board. It's 7-3 Tennessee. Sean McDonough with Terry Donahue and Mike Mayock back at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. A reminder that the NFL on CBS continues tomorrow at 1 Eastern time. Baltimore and Green Bay, New England and Miami, the early slate. And at 4:15, most of the nation will see the big battle between Jacksonville and Denver. And of course, it all begins with the NFL Today at noon Eastern time, presented by Southwest Airlines. Wisniewski's kickoff went near the goal line, and Peerless Price brought it out to the 20-yard line, where he was tackled by Miguel Merritt. Officially a 19-yard return by the senior from Dayton, Ohio, Peerless Price. And slow to get up for Alabama. One of their coverage men, Adam Cox, freshman from Jasper, Alabama.
Got to be wild, Sean, to get on that kickoff coverage team. Now it takes a certain breed of guy to get on that coverage team and run down there full speed, knowing what awaits you down there at the wedge.
Already some final scores today in the Southeastern Conference. Georgia's victory over Kentucky, meaning the Dogs are 4-1. Florida 4-1. Those two teams hoping for some help from Alabama today, because the Florida loss in the conference and the Georgia loss both against Tennessee. So Tennessee is in firm command in the SEC East. 1st and 10. Tennessee very impressive on its first possession, a touchdown march of 76 yards. And went 3 plays and punt last time. Martin looking to air it out deep, looking for Peerless Price, and it is incomplete. Fernando Bryant, the best cover corner for Alabama, was running step for step with Price.
Boy, Sean, I like the call by the Tennessee offensive coaches. Alabama has 8 men on the front trying to stop the run, so Tennessee goes deep with the ball on 1st and 10. You have a one-on-one matchup. They don't hit this pass, but it loosens the secondary up, and it helps you throw as the game goes on.
Price, clearly their #1 receiver this year, but the numbers down for the wideouts this year. They haven't thrown the ball down the field as much as they've brought Martin along slowly. They do feel he can air it out if necessary. Sean Bryson, the fullback, is taken down by Tony Dixon at the 28. It's very interesting how the numbers have changed in terms of play selection with the transition from Peyton Manning to T. Martin. Last year with Peyton here, Phil Fulmer relied much more heavily on the pass than he has this year. This year they're rushing the ball 65% of the time.
And Sean, there's no question in my mind Philip Fulmer's more comfortable with this style of offense. He's an offensive lineman, ex-offensive lineman himself, offensive line coach. He likes to run the ball and control the line of scrimmage. And Tennessee's done that this year very effectively.
Play action fake. Martin pursued, throws low to Peerless Price. Is it a catch? Yes, it is. Martin ran away from the blitz coming from the far side of the field, and he found Price for a gain of 9 and a first down for Tennessee.
Peerless Price goes in motion and just comes across the formation, and T. Martin delivers the ball. You can't really see from this angle. It appeared to me that it was a good catch, but it's hard to see from here. Certainly the officials right there on it. Fernando Bryant on the coverage, the best defensive back that Alabama has.
Travis Henry is the tailback. He's more of a power back of the two Travises. Martin throws for another first down into Alabama territory. Cedric Wilson caught it in front of Fernando Bryant. Third catch for Wilson, who came into this game with 6 for the season.
Sean, that's an example of what I said a few minutes ago. The fact that Tennessee went deep, they just faked like they were going to go deep. Fernando Bryant gave him a big cushion, and all of a sudden the wide receiver curled in front of him. They hit a 15-yard gain. So that's what happens when you go deep. You loosen up that secondary.
Will Bartholomew has come in at fullback for the Vols to give Bryson a breather. Travis Henry bounced off the hit of Reggie Grimes, and he turned it into a quality gain. We'll see where they spot him down. Ball will be moved back to the 47-yard line, so a pickup of only 2.
I think there's one interesting thing that's occurring thus far. The Tennessee offense appears to be going after Fernando Bryant, number 25 for Alabama. They've thrown 4 passes already his way, and he's reputed to be the best defensive back at Alabama. Maybe the theory is let's attack him, break him down early, and then we've got him.
Bryant, second team all SEC each of the last 2 years. He is one of the best in the conference. Martin showing his scrambling ability. First down and more. He's out of bounds at the 30-yard line. 17 on the scramble for Martin.
There's nothing like having a mobile quarterback in your backfield when your protection breaks down. Alabama does a great job on the pass rush. Travis Smith, number 48, has T. Martin in his grasp. Can't make the play because of the athletic talent of T. Martin. He breaks away with those beautiful legs of his and makes that positive gain. It's hard to play defense against a scrambling quarterback. First of all, it wears you out.
And Ellis Johnson, the defensive coordinator for Alabama, said they would have a spy player on Martin, watching him all the way in passing situations. Henry fumbled the football, and it's recovered by Cozy Coleman. Steve Stanley knocked it out for Bama, but Cozy Coleman, the right guard, was in the right place.
Steve Stanley, number 4, the outside linebacker, collapsed inside. He'll come from the left side of the screen over here. That's where he's going to come from. But as this slow developing play hits, he'll fold up inside, and it'll get stripped right there by number 4.
Almost a rare turnover by the Vols. They've been one of the best in the nation this year in turnover margin. Travis Stevens comes back in after Henry lost the handle. Martin stumbled away from center, picked up the block he needed to get free, and he has his man for a short gain. It's Cedric Wilson again, tackled by Marcus Spencer and Fernando Bryant. And here's Mike Mayock.
Hey, Sean, a fairly significant move at wide receiver. They're using David Martin in the rotation. Now, he's a sophomore, had pulled a hamstring earlier this year. They said they'd like to redshirt him, but they figured they had to get him in the game sometime. So he's in the game, and when you talk to that coaching staff, you get the feeling they think he's the next big star, the next first-round draft pick out of that wide receiver position here at Tennessee.
He's a sophomore from Norfolk, Virginia, and hampered by injuries ever since he arrived here. Tremendous size at 6'4", 210. For a while, they thought about making him a tight end. Martin throws incomplete. He was looking for David Martin, the man about whom Mike Mayock was just speaking. Chris Horn and Fernando Bryant had him bracketed.
Well, and as you mentioned, Sean, I think the advantage that David Martin gives the Tennessee wide receivers is size. This is a big guy at 6'4". Reminds me a little bit of J.J. Stokes, who I had at UCLA. When you have a guy like that, you have a mismatch against a lot of defensive backs that are 5'9", 5'10", and that at range.
Jeff Hall in to try a 45-yard field goal. He was 8 out of 10 this season with a long of 46. He's made 18 of his last 22 field goal tries. dating back to last year. And this one is no good. He hooked it. So with 25 seconds left in the first quarter, Fulmer's Vols go back on defense with still just a 7-3 lead.
You know, you and I, Sean, are used to seeing Jeff Hall kick it right down the center of those goalposts. I mean, that's usually where it is right down the center. But he hooked this one badly to the left.
They must have moved the uprights. That's the only possible explanation because he's been rock solid all year.
Mike DeBow certainly likes that.
His team is hanging in there. And a decided underdog this afternoon. But the Tide trailing by 4. Zau crunched. First sack for Tennessee, and it comes from Raynoch Thompson.
Andrew Zau never saw the blitz coming from the backside. Raynoch Thompson comes from the left side, and the quarterback simply doesn't see him. He's right there watching. The quarterback is going to turn his head away. He doesn't even see him on the backside, can hardly get set. He's lucky he didn't turn the ball over. That's the Tennessee pressure defense right there.
And that's the end of the first quarter with the score, Tennessee 7 and Alabama 3. We'll return to Neyland Stadium after these messages and a word from your local station. Start of the second quarter. Tennessee has a 7-3 lead over Alabama after the sack on the final play of the first quarter. It is 2nd down and 20. Bama operating from its own 16-yard line. And Sean Alexander goes across the 20, and then he's brought down. Coach, the way this game started, looked like it might be a blowout. Tennessee very impressive going right down the field. You have to give Alabama credit for the way it has recovered.
I think the Alabama coaches have done a marvelous job adjusting their defense against the Tennessee offense, and I like the way Alabama's offense is able to move the ball a little bit against this pressure defense from Tennessee. Right now, Alabama is definitely in this football game.
Big play here. Alabama doesn't want to make a critical mistake deep in its own territory from its own 21. 3rd down and 17. Zau, think to know in particular there wasn't anybody lined up behind him. And Quincy Jackson is pushed out well short of a first down. Steve Johnson pushed out the senior from Brundage, Alabama. Quincy Jackson, the first cousin of the starting defensive end for the Tide, Cornelius Griffin. Daniel Pope comes on to punt. His is an interesting story. Started collegiately at Western Kentucky. Took part in preseason football practice and was the long snapper. Never actually made it to the start of fall class. He said, I can punt better than the guys who are punting. Why am I snapping it to him? I'm going to work on my punting. He went out of school for a year and then wound up at Alabama. And he has become an excellent punter. Very high kick. Eric Parker forced back to the 26. And he's tackled immediately. Fine coverage by Chad McGehee. A 47-yard punt and just a 3-yard return. 1 minute into the second quarter, the number 3 team in the nation, Tennessee, has a 4-point lead over Alabama. 1st and 10, Volunteers from their own 30. Play action fake, and they were ready for it. Reggie Grimes with the sack. The junior back in his home state. He's from Nashville, Tennessee, with the sack, his first of the year.
Reggie Grimes just used his quickness. He'll come from the top of the screen, and he just gets off on the snap, comes right underneath the crack block that's trying to get him right there. Jermaine Copeland, number 6, was trying to crack him, and he couldn't get inside on him, and Grimes just beat the block.
Alabama's 23 sacks. Second only to Alabama. And this is a good matchup. Tennessee yields the fewest. Second to Florida, I should say. It's tough to be second to yourself. Travis Stevens out to the 26-yard line. Travis Smith made the stop. So you have the team that gives up the fewest sacks in the conference against the second best sacking defense.
You know, as I watch the Alabama defense play, they have gotten quicker as the game has unfolded. In the initial drive, they looked tentative. Tennessee dislodged them a little bit with their motion and some of their movement. All of a sudden, that defense from Alabama kind of tightened down, and they look very quick getting off the ball. And right now, they have good control of the tempo of the game.
And the nickel back, Reggie Miles on the field, number 23, a true freshman. Martin lofting it up deep, and it is incomplete. Kelf Bailey had the coverage on Cedric Wilson. And the Alabama defense holds again. The Volunteers will punt. David Leverton, the sophomore from Midland, Texas, will punt for the second time. His first was a boot of just 36 yards. Arvin Richards standing at his own 36. 10 men up on the line for Alabama. They do not come after Leverton. Another short punt. Richard at the 40. Started upfield. Retreated. Kind of like the SATs. Stick with your first instinct. His first instinct was to go up the field. He changed his mind and wound up losing yardage. A 34-yard punt return of -1.
That's what you try to do, is get your punt returner to make the first guy miss and then get the ball north and south. Forget all that east and west stuff.
Alabama begins at its own 39. Philip Fulmer knows a lot about this rivalry. He talks about the history and traditions of the various rivalries to his team during the offseason. Players are well aware of the many memorable battles over the years between these two bordering states. Sean Alexander rumbles into Tennessee territory down at the 43-yard line, tackled by Al Wilson. A gain of 20.
Well, it's a little counter play by Alabama. The fullback Marvin Brown makes a kick-out block on the end, and it just opens up a huge hole for the tailback to cut back in. Anytime you get a cutback lane, tailbacks, when they get the ball deep, they see those things and they just grab them. Here through the eyes of Sean Alexander, he just sees a gaping hole and grabs it.
Now the spread offense, 4 wide receivers spread across the field. 4-man rush, well picked up. Zhao going deep, and it is incomplete. He was going deep down the sideline, looking for Shantu Ray. Time magazine calls Sammo Hung America's least likely, most refreshing network star. Don't miss all the lightning speed action on an all-new episode tonight at 9 Eastern on CBS. Sammo obviously does not watch our telecast, Terry, because we have pretty much been begging every week for a guest appearance on that fine program, and the invitation hasn't yet been extended.
We're still waiting for the call. The call will come. It'll come.
2nd and 10. Zhao snapped it at 1. Raynoch Thompson on the blitz from behind. McClintock juggled it, and it's ruled incomplete. Fred White had the coverage on McClintock. Zhao got knocked down from behind by Raynoch Thompson. And McClintock never did have possession in front of the Tennessee bench.
Well, and Andrew Zhao is lucky he didn't have a turnover on this play. He had some hot breath coming behind him right by Raynoch Thompson, 46 from the backside, and he just barely gets that ball off.
Third down and 10. Alabama at the Tennessee 42. The spread formation. The pass is caught. First down. Quincy Jackson down at the 26-yard line.
Quincy Jackson just ran down the field and to the inside on a curl route. He just turns to the inside, finds a little seam, and then turns it up the field. An excellent throw by Andrew Zhao, and give the Alabama offensive line some credit. They really gave him time to get his feet planted and get the ball released.
Those 11 receptions in the season opener, 1 short of the school record for a single game. 12 accomplished twice by David Bailey, both times against Tennessee in 69 and in 70. Alexander trying to get outside, and he stumbled ahead to the 20-yard line. And you can sense anxiety in the crowd here at Neyland Stadium as Alexander picked up 6. And one element of this rivalry over the years has been some upsets along the way, as in any great rivalry, and Alabama's looking like a team capable of it so far today.
No question on both sides of the ball. They've got good tempo. They have good control of the game. They're not dominating the game, but they're not getting control either.
10 carries, 49 yards rushing for Sean Alexander. On second down, he is buried for a loss. Sean Ellis came right through the offensive line and knocked down Alexander for a 3-yard loss on the play.
Sean Ellis isn't even going to be blocked. He's going to be right there, and if you watch him, no one's going to block him because the line goes to the inside, the cutback. All of a sudden, Sean Alexander, remember, he made yards on the cutback before. On that particular run, he shouldn't have cut it back. There was no cutback lane to go into.
3rd down and 7. Zhao has time, throws behind Quincy Jackson. Now had a case of nervous feet there. He had Jackson open, but the ball was thrown behind him. Fred White had the coverage on Jackson.
Quincy Jackson in the slot. He's the middle receiver right there. That's who Andrew Zhau's trying to find. But you got to give Andrew Zhao some credit. You know, he's a young player, and there's a lot of pressure from that Tennessee defense. So far, I've been impressed with him as a true freshman. He sits in there in this stadium, 100,000 plus people, and I like it.
Ryan Flugner trying to make it a 1-point game. A 40-yard try from the left hash mark. And it is no good. He just missed it to the right. Each team has missed a field goal, and it's still 7-3.
Well, he's got plenty of leg on this kick. There's no question, but he just pulled it to the right just a little bit.
CBS Sports coverage of NASDAQ college football will continue after this word from your local station. Sean McDonough, Terry Donahue, Mike Mayock at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. After the missed field goal, Tennessee takes over 1st and 10 at its own 23. Travis Stevens gang tackled after he crossed the 25-yard line. Travis Smith and Marcus Spencer led the defensive surge for the Crimson Tide. Time for today's Aflac trivia question. When was the last time Tennessee defeated both Florida and Alabama at home in the same year? Could happen this year with a win today, since they already have the overtime victory over Florida here. Do you know the answer?
Do I?
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm not telling anybody until we show it on the screen. Did my reading for the week.
Yes, you did. As you always do, Coach. There's Travis Stevens picking up a 1st down at the 36-yard line. Kelf Bailey made the tackle. Another man who always does his homework is Tim Brendo.
All right, Sean, Edger and James trying to keep Miami within shouting distance in a very important game in the Big East. Remember, Syracuse is 2-0, West Virginia 1-0. Bolger has a couple of touchdown passes in the game for the Mountaineers.
Amos Zerouay been banged up a little bit this season, but now they're heading into a crucial stretch in the conference. They need him in full health.
Boy, this is a huge game for both Miami and West Virginia down there.
Travis Henry now the tailback. Will Bartholomew the fullback leading the way after the pitch to Peerless Price. And he goes out of bounds at the 43-yard line, about 2.5 yards short of the 1st down.
Little razzle-dazzle there by Tennessee on the reverse to Peerless Price. Again, I think trying to take advantage of the fast flow of the Alabama defense. Slow them down, reverses, counters, do whatever you can to take some of that flow out of the defense.
Seems that the Tennessee coaches are making a conscious effort today to get Peerless Price more involved. He's a great talent. Hasn't always been an active participant in the offense this season. Still Bartholomew and Henry in the backfield. Second stringers at each position, and Henry got belted. Kenny Smith had him down low, and Trevis Smith, no relation, hit him up high.
Kenny Smith just came inside to block. Number 88 made a good inside move, and when he did, he just penetrated that backfield, and as a result, he got that penetration. It disrupted the offensive play.
Kenny's a sophomore from Meridian, Mississippi. Four-year starter in high school at Meridian High. He was the Mississippi Defensive Player of the Year and a Parade All-American in high school, and was also All-State in baseball. Bartholomew in front of Henry on 3rd down and 1. Martin keeps, and it'll be very close.
It'll be real close, Sean. When you look at the mark of the line judge, he's the one that has his foot just over the 45-yard line.
I think he's short from where they spotted that.
He is too, from where the spot was.
Travis Smith again led the defensive surge.
Alabama got up there with a 9-man front. Philip Fulmer wants a timeout to think about this. I don't think there's a decision. I think you kick the ball. I don't think you mess around here on your own 45-yard line.
Timeout. Philip Fulmer will ponder this 4th and inches, and we'll be back in a moment. How can you figure out Michigan State this season? Dominated Notre Dame, struggled against everybody else. Philip Fulmer appears to be going for it on 4th and inches. They hand it off for a first down. But Philip Crosby, the 3rd-string fullback, in that short yardage situation, just his 4th carry of the year. All 3 of the previous carries were in the rout against the University of Houston. But it's a first down. Fulmer gambled, and in this instance won.
No question, that was a gutsy call by Phil Fulmer. He put the jumbo backfield in there, and he had a big old number 63. Toby Chandler was the lead blocker, Toby Champion, about 300 pounds, leading that way. But boy, that's a gamble when you're playing an underdog team like Alabama to take it on your own 45-yard line.
Fulmer very pleased with his offensive line play all year. He has confidence in that unit. Travis Henry tripped up by Kenny Smith. Henry ahead to the 49-yard line. Henry and Travis Stevens in their last game 2 weeks ago against Georgia did a terrific job filling in for Jamal Lewis. Henry carried 16 times for 53 yards, 46 of those yards in the second half. And Travis Stevens had his first career 100-yard game with 107. So they combined for 160, filling in more than adequately for Lewis out with a knee injury. Martin threw and completed the pass to Cedric Wilson. And he's ridden out of bounds in Alabama territory with a first down at the 37-yard line, a gain of 14.
It's just a little play-action fake by T. Martin. He fakes to the tailback like it's going to be a run, and all of a sudden he gets the ball out to Cedric Wilson. Cedric Wilson's at the top of the screen. He's going to run just to an out route. He acts like he's going to go deep. He breaks it off, and look at the cushion. Look at the space that he had between himself and number 13, Kelp Bailey, for Alabama.
5 catches for 66 yards today. Wilson at 6 for the year coming in. That was the first pass thrown in this quarter by the Vols after 10 running plays. They had 10 runs and 9 passes in the first quarter. Much better balance in the first. Martin all day to throw. Now running out of time. Swings it out to Travis Henry, and he gets pulled out of bounds by Canary Knight. Fans thought there was a little late activity along the Alabama sideline, but no flags have been thrown, and this has been a very flag-free game. Just one offside penalty.
Now this is awfully close to a personal foul. You have to decide when the whistle blew, you know, and you can't hear the whistle on the replay. But right there, he's trying to pull off. It didn't look like he was punishing him, but that's a close call. I think I hear a whistle now, and plenty of whistles blowing as far as I'm concerned. That's very, very close.
Well, Tennessee got away with a late hit on Zhao, so perhaps they're even now. Henry bounced off a hit, now finds a big hole. Travis Henry down at the 6-yard line. Tony Dixon saved the touchdown.
David Cutcliffe, the offensive coordinator at Tennessee, he told us yesterday, Sean, he said Travis Henry is a heavy runner. He will punish you when he runs, and that's exactly what he did right there on Kenny Smith, number 88, who had a clear shot at him. And Travis Henry has huge legs from the waist down. This is a big, big man. He's not real tall, only 5'11", but he is so strong in the lower body.
25-yard gain, longest run of Henry's career. He's a sophomore from Frostproof, Florida. Travis Henry to the 5-yard line.
John, I think we have to go back to that 4th down call that Philip Fulmer made. You talk about a gutsy call, you're playing an underdog, but you're at home and you got the crowd on your side, but you're on your own 45-yard line in a 7-3 game, and you go for it on 4th and a foot. You beat the
this year a little bit below the national average in scoring touchdowns in the red zone. 12th play of the drive upcoming. 2nd and goal from the 5. Travis Henry is the tailback behind Sean Bryson. Here is Price, the motion man. Martin. Flag down. Martin has a touchdown if it stands. But there's a flag thrown at the 5-yard line. Thrown where it appeared Sean Bryson was tangled up with Tony Dixon.
I think Sean Bryson blocked in the back. Nope.
It's a holding call against the defense. Highly unusual on a running play. And the touchdown stands for T. Martin, a 5-yard score. He has scored both Tennessee touchdowns today.
Well, it's a little bootleg pass by T. Martin, and again, trying to take advantage of his athleticism and his great legs. He's on a quarterback keep when no one's open. Philip Fulmer knows he's got a running quarterback who can get that ball in the end zone.
Jeff Hall. Perfect for the season and extra points. Now 17 of 17, and the Vols lead by 11. Another impressive drive by Tennessee. 77 yards, 12 plays, including a conversion on 4th and inches. And the defense trying to regroup on the Alabama sideline. It's 14-3 Tennessee as Jeff Hall kicks off. Arvin Richard from the 3. And he's still on his feet. Never did. Yes, he did step out of bounds back at the 39-yard line. They finally got him down across midfield, but he'll be spotted out back at the 39. A 36-yard return by Richard, the sophomore from Atlanta.
Arvin Richard is a fierce competitor, punt returner, kickoff man. He hits a little seam in the Tennessee coverage right here and turns on the afterburners down the sideline, stepping out of bounds right there. But this is an excellent field position for Alabama's offense to start after the Tennessee score.
How about Jeff Hall, the kicker, not afraid to put his helmet in on the tackle, even though Richard was already out of bounds. Richard came to Alabama as a walk-on, earned a scholarship this fall. Heading into his sophomore year, Sean Alexander. And the coaches said they can't run east and west against Tennessee, and Alexander just gave you an idea of why they expected to struggle heading in that direction. Derek Edmonds came flying up from the secondary to make the play.
Well, the pursuit and the speed of the Tennessee defense, Sean, is just so fast that when you start bouncing plays outside, which Sean Alexander did there, they just overtake you and hunt you down.
Second down, nearly 10. A long 9 for a Bama first down. Interesting formation. 2 players close on the right of Zhao, and he's in trouble. Sacked again. Second sack for the Vols. This time give D'Angelo Lloyd credit for the sack.
Alabama tried to get good protection out of their 2 backs to try and protect the quarterback right there and right there. They're in kind of a weird position, unusual formation, as you pointed out, Sean, but they just got overpowered. The Tennessee defense just came in there, and once again, it's like a feeding frenzy. They just start hunting up that quarterback.
A very deep defensive line for Tennessee. Lloyd's a backup, several backups on the field right now. Up front for the Vols, including the true freshman number 90, Will Overstreet, lined up at the right defensive end. Same formation. Zhao, more time this time, has a receiver and a first down. Shamari Buchanan in the Tennessee territory at the 48-yard line.
When you're working against man-to-man pass defense like Alabama is when they play Tennessee, inside breaking routes are really effective. Here, Shamari Buchanan runs inside, breaks it off, and just beats Dwayne Goodrich on the inside route. Andrew Zhao with a good release, and the ball is on target.
Third catch of the year for Buchanan. The junior from Atlanta missed the first 4 games of the season with a broken collarbone suffered in preseason practice. Alexander bounced off a couple of hits, and he was taken down by Dominic Stevenson and Deion Grant. Stevenson, the sophomore substitute linebacker. Get complete college football coverage at CBS Sportsline. Log on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time to chat with College Football Today analyst and former Notre Dame head coach Lou Holtz. That's Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time at cbs.sportsline.com. I might have to log on for that.
Do you do that, Sean? Do you log on?
Wouldn't know how to log on. To me, log on means throw a little wood on the fire. That's about it. Second down, 6. Flag down before the snap. And Zhao got drilled by Corey Terry. Well, there was a flag down. I don't think the play counts.
I think the whistles were blowing there.
There was movement at the top of your picture with the wide out the quarterback.
False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
There's no question that there's movement.
Yep, there it is.
But the real issue is the hit comes and when were the whistles blowing and who heard it. But you watch Zhao, he just totally relaxes. And then Al Wilson and Raynoch Thompson came in and kind of butted him with his head.
Yeah, the officials might want to throw a flag on one of these sooner or later. Both sides have gotten away with what might be considered late hits. It is loud in here with more than 100,000 in attendance.
Here comes the blitz.
Out of the shotgun, Zhao looked like a design quarterback draw, but he didn't get anywhere. Raynoch Thompson made the tackle.
Sean, it was a quarterback draw. What Alabama attempted to do was spread the field, no backs, get everybody out of there. But the Tennessee defense was ready for this play, and they stuffed up the middle. There were just no running lanes for Andrew Zhao to work into.
Timeout called by Alabama. Andrew Zhao stays in the game for Alabama, but they were looking at him. He was twisting his head, looked like he might have a neck injury when he came to the sidelines, and John David Phillips is warming up. He's a 5th-year senior who was the starting quarterback at the beginning of the year and lost his job to Zhao in the Florida game. Phillips got the hook, and now Zhao is making his 3rd straight start. 3rd down and 11. Inside screen. Freddie Millens, the true freshman, inside the 20, flag thrown way downfield. And it looked for a moment like Millens might go the distance. The true freshman from Starkville, Mississippi, with a 27-yard gain, but a late flag thrown downfield near the tackle at the 23-yard line.
This play is designed to take advantage of that fierce Tennessee pass rush. It's a little underneath screen, just a delayed screen to the flanker so that you let all the people rush up the field, and the flanker will come underneath and receive the pass and catch it and then run inside. Wrong guy inside. The inside slot man takes it, but it's still the principle. It's an underneath screen, and all the defensive linemen have come up the field.
On the offense. 10-yard penalty. Spot the ball. Results in a first down.
Holding from the spot of the foul moves it back to the 34-yard line, but it is a first down. 50 seconds left, 2 timeouts left for the Tide, and Millens has his 5th catch of the year. He was a quarterback in high school last year, all-state at Starkville High in Mississippi, playing in the hometown of Mississippi State, but elected to come to the University of Alabama. Now is 6 out of 13 for 79 yards. He throws and has another man wide open. Tim Bowens down at the 29, inbounds, so the clock will run, and Alabama calls a timeout to stop it. That holding call was a big play. Let's see if we can find it as Millens completed his run.
Well, it happened downfield late. Wide receiver trying to make a good block.
And that was probably it right there. Steve Johnson was down on the ground before Millens arrived. And then Millens was stopped. So now there are 29 seconds left till the AXA and Equitable halftime report. The Tim, Craig, and Lou scores and highlights on another big day of college football. Of course, Coach, the big story in this conference, the resignation last night of Terry Bowden at Auburn.
A shock, really. It sent shockwaves across the landscape of college football. You know, you just don't expect that to happen right before a ball game, the night before a game. You don't expect it in the middle of the season, and just a lot of extenuating circumstances, particularly out of a coach that went to the SEC championship game last year. That's what's so surprising.
Good drive for Alabama. Might have been better, and we're going to see again if we can find that hold. And there it is. There was Tim Bowens, the next receiver downfield, clearly tackled Steve Johnson. Number 29. Zhao faked the inside handoff. Zhao's running out of time. Throws over the middle. Incomplete. Deflected by Deion Grant. He had the coverage on Michael Vaughn. Again, the Alabama line gave Zhao time, but he couldn't find anybody open.
It was awfully good coverage by the secondary of Tennessee. They were locked on man-to-man, and there just wasn't a lot of guys open. It's an excellent fake initially. You don't see it here, but he held the defensive line with the fake of the draw. Zhao once again got hit hard after the throw.
And he keeps bouncing back up, and that's a shot in the head.
I mean, that's Al Wilson, number 27, and you have a referee right there that has one primary job in football, which is to protect the quarterback.
Well, he's done a terrible job today with that primary responsibility. The pass thrown to Shamari Buchanan, and he's out of bounds with a first down at the 21-yard line.
Boy, that was a nice play by Buchanan. Heads up, getting the ball out of bounds. Rather than trying to make a huge play with this, he takes this pass, but he fights to get it out of bounds. Right now, the clock is the enemy. Takes a little quick hitch, turns it up, then get the ball back outside. Excellent play.
As the Tennessee defense has its string of quarters in which it is not allowed a touchdown. Up to 10 now, and 17 without allowing a rushing touchdown. Time now a factor. One timeout left. 16 seconds left in the half. First and 10 at the Tennessee 21. 10th play of this possession for Alabama. Zhao appeared to change the play. They were confused. McClintock went in motion and looked like the snap might have hit him. And the play goes back to the 31, and they have to use their last timeout with 11 seconds left.
They just didn't get the play executed properly, Sean. You're exactly right. The motion man, McClintock, he goes across the formation, and when he does, the center snapped the ball prematurely and hit him. Alabama's lucky to get it back.
Play clock was running out. DuBose knows it could have been worse. Tennessee could have recovered the errant snap. But now they're out of timeouts, and it would be a very long field goal from here, about 48 yards, although Ryan Flugner does have a very strong leg with a 55-yarder that he made against Arkansas this year. And Coach DuBose told us earlier in the week Flugner can make them from 60 up to perhaps 63 yards.
Yeah, he said he's got plenty of leg to hit him anywhere on the field. You know, on the last play, what happened, Andrew Zhao usually tells the center he's ready for the snap with his leg. But he had pointed. He pointed with his hand, and when he pointed, the center, I'm sure, interpreted that as I'm ready for the ball. And at that time, McClintock was in motion across the formation and hit him.
I think had the ball not been snapped when it was, they would have taken a delay of game penalty. It needed to be snapped just about when it was to avoid the penalty. But it was almost worse.
You can see Zhao raised his leg, wanting to snap, and once you do that, the center's live, and he's going to snap it.
Well, he cannot take a sack now, or the half will end. Zhao deep down the middle, overthrown, looking for Quincy Jackson. Dwayne Goodrich had the coverage. Jackson broke free late, but the throw was just a bit too long, and here comes the field goal team.
Well, it's a nice attempt by Alabama to get the ball into the end zone. Quincy Jackson just ran a post. It's great coverage by Dwayne Goodrich, 23. He's all over it.
So now Flugner's 1 out of 2 today. Made from 41 and missed from 40. This is a 47-yard try. They get them within 8 at halftime. A knuckled ball that's no good. Wide left this time. That's 2 big misses by Flugner. And that's the end of the half. Here's Mike Mayock with Philip Fulmer.
Hey, Coach, you surprised all of us. 4th and 1 on your own 45. You went for it. What was the thought process?
Well, I felt like we needed to turn field position back over in our favor, and I had a lot of faith that our defense could get them stopped if we didn't make it. It was a tough call, but I thought it was the right thing to do. Led to a score.
Sure did. Halftime at Georgia, I said you're going to get conservative in the second half. Same thing here.
No, we can't get conservative. You can see they put 4 and 5 wide receivers on the field. They're dangerous as can be, and we've got to continue to play our game. I'm proud of the way T's managing the game, doing a really good job.
Yeah, he sure has, Coach. Thank you. Good luck in the second half.
The end of the first half, the score Tennessee 14, Alabama 3. Stay tuned as Tim Brando, Craig James, and Lou Holtz bring you up to date on all today's scores and highlights on the College Football Today AXA and Equitable Halftime Report. Alabama will receive the second half kickoff. Jeff Hall, the senior from Winchester, Tennessee, drives it downfield. And it's Arvin Richard from the 4. And through the traffic and out to the 25-yard line. Sean McDonough with Terry Donahue, Coach. Alabama, a big underdog here today, had some chances in the first half to be even a little bit closer than this 14-3 score.
Well, there's no question the field goals have really hurt Alabama, the missed field goals. And I think T. Martin has been impressive in the first half. He's been looser in this game. The Tennessee coaches have tried to do more with him, and as a result, he's made some plays, as he always does, with his legs, but he's also hit some passes.
We've seen this a lot from Tennessee this season. They allow the opponent to stay close, but in the end, they've made all the plays, or most of them anyway, necessary to win. Sean Alexander breaking tackles. And that's 10 on the first play from scrimmage of the second half. He's out at the 35. It seems that he has a first down. The AXA and Equitable first half statistics, 200 total yards for Tennessee, but they had 76 on the opening drive in the first 2 minutes and 12 seconds, and it looked like they might be heading for a huge offensive day. The Alabama defense stabilized.
Well, and the other thing that happened a little bit, Sean, is that not only did the Alabama defense stabilize, but then the Alabama offense started clicking off some plays that were successful and kept the ball away from Tennessee.
Andrew Zhao, the quarterback, hands it off to Alexander. And he did well to gain 3 or 4. It looked like he might go down behind the line. Darwin Walker finally got him to the ground at the 38-yard line. Eric Westmoreland also in on the stop. Alexander rushed for 51 yards in the first half. And is up to 64 yards now. Second down, 7 yards to go. Out of that tight formation, and the balls were not fooled. Sean Alexander tackled around the ankles by Al Wilson.
Well, this is just a little counter play to Alexander. There just wasn't much room.
A lot of pressure on Andrew Zhao. He was sacked just twice in the first half, but he was hurried on 5 occasions, knocked down 4. A couple of those seemed to be late, but the referee Ron Gilbert has allowed what looked like late hits on each side.
And Andrew Zhao, I think, has really done a good job handling that pressure to this point in time. He's been under duress and doesn't seem to be flustered by it, just seems to keep playing.
4 wide receivers on 3rd down and 7. There's that short pass to Millens, and he avoided a tackle and picked up the first down by about a half yard. Corey Terry, the defensive end, downfield to make the tackle. But Millens, showing his ability to run after the catch, moves the chain for Bama.
Well, and Millens just runs that middle screen again, and what that affects really is the pass rush of Tennessee. All the linemen come hard on the pass rush. Millens just comes underneath it, and then he beats Al Wilson man-to-man right there and makes a nice play, gets the ball north and south.
He's one of 3 members of his family playing sports in the Southeastern Conference right now. John Alexander on 1st and 10 gets very little. Millens has 2 sisters playing basketball in the SEC. Cynthia at Ole Miss, and Anita Millens is playing at Mississippi State in their hometown of Starkville. Alexander was tackled by Sean Ellis. There's Freddie Millens, and Mike Dubose says with each game these young wide receivers are starting to get more involved in the offense.
Mike Dubose is playing an awful lot of young players, and as a result it's difficult to coach a team like that because it really affects the morale of your juniors and seniors who aren't playing.
Throwback screen to Dustin McClintock, and he's into Tennessee territory, out of bounds just inside the 46, about a yard short of the first down. Al Wilson pushed him out. Nice mix of play calling here by Neil Callaway, the offensive coordinator for Alabama.
And this is a nice play to slow down all that Tennessee pursuit, all those angry orange shirts coming after you, and you kind of counter them with a little screen pass there. Al Wilson on the tackle.
Chris Samuels with a block on Raynoch Thompson to help the Alabama cause. Zhao over 50% for the day now and over 100 yards. Third down and short. Alexander close, but he appears to be short. They'll mark him down right on the 45-yard line. Raynoch Thompson made the tackle, and it looks from here that he's about a foot short.
I don't think he made it. Raynoch Thompson came in from the right side and grabbed the tailback right around the ankles. It was a piercing move. Watch him. Number comes in right from there. Watch Raynoch Thompson. He comes underneath and just makes that play.
And Alabama down 11 early in the third quarter. Will go for it on fourth down and inches. They are 2 out of 4 on fourth downs this season.
I think this is a good call by Mike DeVos. I think you need to go for this.
Alexander ahead for what appears to be a first down. Needed a foot and got a yard. Sean Ellis and Fred White leading the defensive surge for Tennessee. But Alexander at 6 feet 209 pounds. Followed the full house backfield ahead for the necessary yardage.
It's a nice lead block by Dustin McClintock, number 30, the fullback. Led in there pretty good and created a little seam. And the whole line for Alabama came off the ball. Like you said, John, they only needed a foot, but they got a yard on this. And it was an important go for fourth down and make it and keep the ball away from Tennessee.
Impressive drive to begin the second half for Alabama. Zhao, great job to sidestep Sean Ellis. Now a man open, McClintock, and he's pummeled. But he has a first down. Raynoch Thompson drilled McClintock. But it's 1st and 10 Alabama at the 31 of Tennessee.
Well, Andrew Zhao comes on a naked bootleg. That means no one was trying to protect him. No pulling lineman tries to protect him. He's going to fake to the tailback, then come on out, and there's tremendous pressure by the Tennessee defense, but he just uses his athleticism, throws across the grain. That's a dangerous throw generally, but he did find a wide open Dustin McClintock.
For a gain of 13, they drop the exchange, and Zhao has to fall on it back at the 40-yard line. He missed the handoff with Sean Alexander, and D'Angelo Lloyd covered Zhao back at the 40, and there's an injured offensive lineman on the field, Jason McDonald, down for Alabama.
And it appeared from here, Sean, that there was a nice hole in the Tennessee defense for Alexander to run underneath. The ball just, again, the second time this game, when you have a freshman quarterback, you have a tailback, he doesn't work with him all the time, you're going to have once in a while those kind of mistakes.
As they check on McDonald, will step aside in the third quarter. Jason McDonald helped off. Appeared to be an injury to his left knee. He's been replaced by Mookie Moore, who has played 6 snaps all year. He's number 69. All those snaps were in their blowout win over Vanderbilt. Zhao, the quick drop on 2nd and long, and the pass is incomplete. Looking for Shamari Buchanan. It's an amazingly durable offensive line. They really have just the 5 starters, virtually no depth. Coming into today's game, they've had 395 possible snaps from left to right on the line. The left tackle Samuels had played 383 of 395. Griff Redmill 389 of 395. The center Paul Hogan 389 of 395. McDonald 373 of 395. And the right tackle Will Cuthbert 389 of 395. For the most part, they've each sat out 6 plays the entire year, most of those against Vanderbilt. Zhao throws well short of a first down. Sean Alexander hit immediately by Raynoch Thompson. And it looks like the punting unit. Well, no, now here comes Pflugner late with Pope, the punter, as the holder.
And Sean, you're talking about the durability of that offensive line. When you and I visited with Neil Callaway, the offensive coordinator at Alabama, he really didn't even want to talk about the backups. He said, hey, none of them have played. He said, you know, we just need to play the 5 guys, and they have to stay healthy. But here, sure enough, you get an injury, and that's going to affect the timing of that unit.
Pressure now on Pflugner. He's had a couple of big misses. The junior from Sarasota, Florida. He'll try a 51-yarder. He has the leg to get it there. And that's a low line drive, short and wide left. And sooner or later, when you're the underdog, Terry, I'd imagine this gets demoralizing to the team.
There's no question. The missed field goals have really affected Alabama's ability to hang into the game emotionally.
Back at the home of the Tennessee Volunteers, more than 107,000 in attendance this afternoon, and Tennessee has it for the first time in the second half. Alabama consumed 5.5 minutes, but another missed field goal. Tide still down by 11. Travis Stevens up the middle for very little, a yard to the 35, and that's it. Time now to answer the Athletic trivia question. The last time Tennessee defeated both Florida and Alabama at home in the same year, you have to go all the way back to 1970. When they had a great year in the first year for Bill Battle as head coach of the Vols. He was the youngest head coach in the nation when he took over at age 28. Led them to an 11-1 year and a victory in the Sugar Bowl for Air Force. Coach Battle taking the Vols to 5 straight bowl games in the early and mid-70s. On the run, T. Martin, first down. He gets hit out of bounds, and finally there's a flag for a late hit in this game. And no question about that one. Marcus Spencer put the pop on Martin after he was at least a step or two out of bounds. 13 on the run and 15 more on the penalty upcoming.
Now, T. Martin really puts pressure on a defense to make sure they're sound.
Fall, personal fall, late hit out of bounds, on the defense, 15 yards. First down.
T. Martin puts pressure on that defense to make sure they're sound on their containment. Every time your contained man, whether it be a defensive tackle or defensive end, has one little mental lapse, T. Martin's a threat to come around outside you for a big gain, as he did right there.
Since the second half of the game against Georgia, he's been a very accurate passer, much more accurate than he was at the start of the season when he really struggled to find the receivers. And the year of the 9 for 26 outing at Syracuse, but it was a win. He's changing the play. 5 on the play clock. Stevens runs into traffic and gets stopped at the 35-yard line by Trevis Smith and Travis Carroll.
Sean, going back to T. Martin, you know, one of the things that's most impressive about him is he seems to be a guy that just takes his team to win after win, doesn't really get concerned about his statistics. If he goes 9 for 21, he doesn't seem to be worried about it. He just has a role to play on the team, and I think he knows he's a better quarterback than at times his statistics might reveal. But this guy is an athlete, and when you have a guy that's athletic at the position, he can make plays for you, get you off the hook.
And right on cue.
Somebody steps on his leg.
And he goes stumbling backwards for a loss back to the 38-yard line. Well, that'll bring up third down and 11. Nearly midway through the third quarter. Mike Dubose, a terrific player at Alabama. And we were talking with David Cutcliffe, the offensive coordinator at Tennessee, who himself went to Alabama. We asked him about Alabama-Tennessee games of the past. He said, well, one thing that I remember, Mike Dubose was a great football player.
He said he played big against Tennessee every time.
Well, the number 54 for his idol Leroy Jordan was thrilled when Coach Bryant let him have that number. His team looking for a big win, but they're down by 11 this afternoon. Midway through the third quarter, Tennessee with an 11-point lead and facing third down and 12 at the 38-yard line of Alabama out of the Tennessee timeout. Martin down at the 28-yard line. very close to a first down. Kendall Moorhead and Marcus Spencer combined to run him down. Phil Fulmer has come all the way down to the marker. I don't think he likes the spot. And now he has another decision to make on what is likely to be 4th and short.
Sean, Alabama has a spy man to take care of the quarterback. He's right there. Watch him. He's supposed to take care of the scramble, but that's Travis Carroll, number 44, the middle linebacker, and he's not as good an athlete as T. Martin. He can't tackle him in the open field. It's great theory, but it didn't work that particular time because of T. Martin.
4th and a yard, and Philip Fulmer this time will take the points and try to push the lead back to 14 if they can convert the field goal. And now a timeout has been called, perhaps a chance to rethink the decision for Coach Fulmer. Tennessee called time up. T. Martin is still on the sideline, and Jeff Hall will try a long field goal. He trots on to attempt the 45-yarder. He missed the 45-yarder earlier this afternoon on his only attempt of the game. And can it be true? He missed another. So missed field goals are a big story in this game. Alabama has missed 3, and now Jeff Hall, normally as reliable as they come, has missed twice.
You know, and I was a little bit surprised there, Sean. Philip Fulmer went for it on 4th and 1 or less than 1 on his own 45-yard line. That time it was 4th and less than 1, and I was surprised he didn't go for it again with that great defense, but that shows the kind of confidence he has in Jeff Hall.
I think his feeling probably was Hall is a very good kicker, one of the best in the country, and if you get the lead to 14,
you got him.
It's certainly a more secure lead than 11. How's that for insight? There's that formation again. Michael Vaughn was the motion man. Zhao had a pocket and used it to find Vaughn, and he's out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Now time for the Sun America virtual playbook.
You know, we talked about the Tennessee pressure defense all day long, and that's exactly what they do. They like to highlight the middle linebacker, number 27, Al Wilson, on the blitz. He loves to go through any gap that's available, and he's the guy that helps lead that front to so many sacks every week because of the pressure he can generate out of the middle.
11 quarters and counting without allowing a touchdown for the Volunteer defense. 2nd down and 6. Couple of fake handoffs. Zhao zips one over the middle, incomplete. The pass was behind his intended target, and it was dropped. There's a marker down. Might have been a late hit on the quarterback.
Sean, I think
Richards couldn't come up with the pass as the ball was behind him.
Absolutely, you're right. It's a late hit on the quarterback. Finally, Andrew Zhao, who's been tattooed several times today, he's going to get a call here. Corey Terry, number 22, is the culprit, I believe. He's fighting off the block. The ball's released. Takes a shot.
Roughing the passer on the defense. 15 yards, first down.
That's clearly the right call, but you wonder why this one was flagged and others were not. And here's a look back at some other hits that Zhao has thrown. These of the legal variety, obviously. This was after an offside penalty. Terry's been battered and bruised, even though officially he's only been sacked a couple of times. Zhao spins quickly. Michael Vaughn, nice moves. He's still dancing. And he's close to a first down into Tennessee territory at the 44. Goes Michael Vaughn, the junior from Clarksdale, Mississippi, who's come back after missing all of last season after back surgery.
This is a nice individual effort by Michael Vaughn. He catches the ball in his hands on that quick screen and all of a sudden uses his running and talent to make positive yardage for Alabama.
He had surgery on a ruptured disc prior to the start of last year, missed the entire season. Then as he was getting ready for spring practice, he had a serious elbow injury that required surgery, so he didn't participate in spring practice either. He was Bama's leading receiver back in 1996 with 39 catches. Zhao going deep, throwing to a spot, and the spot was not occupied my member of the Crimson Tide. Eric Locke was nearest to it, and Mike Mayock might have been even closer. Here's Mike.
Well, right guard Jason McDonald hurt the left knee. There's no ligament damage. They iced him for 5 minutes. When they found out he could sustain weight on that leg, they're now putting on an orthopedic sleeve, and it looks like he's going to try and play again, Sean.
Boy, I tell you, Mike, Sean, how would you like to go in and play with one of those on your leg? You know, talk about limiting your mobility and that kind of stuff. Holy mackerel.
Third and long. Third and short, rather, pardon me. Third and 1. And breaking through is Sean Alexander. Untouched into the end zone. Touchdown. It is very much a ball game, and Alabama will go for 2 to try to get within 3 points.
Sean Alexander hits the cutback lane. Again, watch the fast flow. There's a cutback lane, and he hits that crease. There's no safety.
First 2-point conversion attempt of the season for Alabama, trying to make it a 3-point game. Zhao throws. It is caught for the 2 points by Quincy Jackson. And how big do all the missed field goals in this game look now? Alabama, more than a 2-touchdown underdog entering this game, is within 3 with 5:11 to go in the third quarter.
Well, I think you have to give Alabama credit. They've hung in there the whole day. They've missed some field goals, lost some momentum. But watch number 7, Quincy Jackson. He runs out. He's covered temporarily. Zhao does a good job of stretching the play all the way to the breaking point, holding the ball to the last minute. Then he releases it. Good job by Quincy Jackson looking it in. And look at the Alabama team celebrate.
A 44-yard touchdown run by Alexander got them within 5. Zhao's pass to Jackson got them within 3. 4 plays, 72 yards, 1 minute and 14 seconds on a touchdown drive, and Alexander is over 100 yards for the 4th time this year. And like you, Coach, I've been very impressed by the redshirt freshman from Lake Butler, Florida, Andrew Zhao.
Oh, boy, he's done a real job today. He's taken those hits, hasn't complained. You haven't seen this guy go to the official one time with those hits. He's just got up, buttoned his chin strap, played again, another down. And he's going to be a real quarterback for Alabama in the future as he matures.
Mark Wisniewski kicks it to the goal line. Peerless. Price breaks free. Flag down. Price is going to go the distance. There is a flag back at the 20-yard line.
Sean, I think this is going to go against Alabama for blocking below the waist. One of their coverage men wiped out. He wiped out the wedge. It's against Alabama, I'm sure.
It is. 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Peerless Price.
The Tennessee wedge is forming to get Peerless Price going, but you'll see an Alabama player right there, blocked below the waist. That's the penalty on Alabama. Good call by the official. Peerless Price finds the seam and turns it on right down the sideline.
And stayed in bounds despite a couple of close calls in front of the Alabama folks. That ties the Tennessee record for the longest kickoff return. Willie Gault, 100 yards against Pittsburgh in 1980. Pete Manuska in the Sun Bowl against Maryland in 1984. Took kickoffs 100 yards for scores, and now Peerless Price has done it as well. And what a way to turn momentum back in your favor if you're the Tennessee Volunteers, just as Alabama was jumping for joy within 3. Jeff Hall has a chance to make it a 10-point game. And he does. It's 21-11.
John, as we say, big-time players make big-time plays. Philip Fulmer knows he's got a big-time player in Peerless Price.
He was concerned about the flag, but no cause for concern. Great scene during the commercial break. 107,289 celebrating the 100-yard kickoff return by Peerless Price. Now Jeff Hall kicks off. Tennessee leads by 10 with under 5 left in the third quarter. Can Arvin Richard answer? He has a hole, and he is tripped up at the 31-yard line and stumbled out to the 36. And that might have been a touchdown saving tackle as Arvin Richard staggered across the 31.
Arvin Richard really hits this kickoff return. Alabama has a crease. All of a sudden, number 3 comes across. Miles makes the play.
Willie Miles might have saved the touchdown. Richard had room. Crowd was silent after the 2-point play by Alabama. Now they're roaring. 1st and 10. Zhao. He takes off. Has a first down. And took a shot to the rib cage at the 47-yard line from Fred White. Tomorrow on the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines. Join Jim Nantz, Marcus Allen, Brent Jones, and George Seibert for all the latest NFL news and information. That's tomorrow at noon Eastern Time. Don't forget to stay with the guys at halftime for the NASDAQ NFL Halftime Report. That's all tomorrow, beginning at noon Eastern, right here on CBS.
Sean,
Great games tomorrow as well.
How come those guys change positions at halftime like that in that picture? Huh?
I don't know. They go in motion, I guess, just like the players.
We got to ask that. We got to figure that out.
1st and 10 Alabama. And this young team bounced back again after the adversity of the kickoff return. Bernard Jackson, freshman, made the stop on Alexander. Here's Tim Brando.
All right, Sean and Terry, Army trying to pull off one of the big shocks of the year. Johnny Goff will be picked off, and Notre Dame will preserve a tough 20-17 victory. Johnny Sanders with the pick. The Irish still alive in the BCS with that one loss, guys.
And we look forward to their big game in 2 weeks right here on CBS against the Boston College Eagles in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts.
Well, Notre Dame's had some close calls, but they're right in the hunt for the championship.
On 2nd down, a flag thrown near the line of scrimmage. Calvin Hall made the catch, short of a first down in Volunteer territory at the 46-yard line. Eric Westmoreland credited with a stop on Hall. This one has all the earmarks of a holding call. Mike DuBose didn't like that one.
I'd say he didn't there, Sean.
Well, they say you can call holding on any play, right? Just about every play during the day. There hasn't been one all day, and this certainly is not an opportune time for the Alabama coach to have one.
Well, usually when they call it, I'll tell you, my experience has been usually it's a takedown. And they're letting these two teams play, but you know, I don't know exactly what happened there, but Mike DuBose is fired up. He's got his game face on.
Jason McDonald has returned to action after having that brace put on his knee. He's in at right guard for Alabama. That's a big loss from the spot of the foul. In essence, a 15-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. 2nd down, 25. Sean Alexander with some of the yardage back out to the 39-yard line. Al Wilson and Raynoch Thompson combined to stop Alexander. He's a junior from Florence, Kentucky. Went to Boone County High School in the Florence, Kentucky area, where he was president of his class, 9th through 12th grades. And we mentioned that 20 rushes is the key number for Alexander. He has big days when he gets to 20 or above. All the other games listed there are this season, with the exception of the LSU game in '96, the biggest in Alabama history. Zhao going to deep, looking downfield for Freddie Millens and Dwayne Goodrich. was nearest in coverage, so the holding penalty derails this Alabama possession.
There's no question that really disrupted the timing rhythm of the Alabama offense. Put them behind the down and distance, and that's a tough distance to try to overcome.
Daniel Pope will punt to Eric Parker. Pope, another former walk-on who earned a scholarship this fall. He's on target to graduate in December. With a great human performance, and he crushes another one to the 11. And the punt coverage for Alabama much better than the kickoff coverage a moment ago. A 49-yard punt and a 5-yard return. And Tito Smith made the tackle.
John, you know, we always talk about in the game how the special teams are going to play a prominent role every game. They always do. But you think back to this game, you've got the missed field goals by Alabama. You got the missed field goals by Tennessee. You got the big kickoff return by Tennessee. Special teams constantly crop their heads up in every big, important game.
T. Martin brings them out of the huddle to the 16-yard line with Travis Henry now the tailback behind Sean Bryson. And they give it to Bryson, and he breaks through. And a stop short of a first down at the 23-yard line. Today's NASDAQ Scholar Athlete of the game is Clint Wagner of Alabama. NASDAQ's commitment to the investment in our future is shown today by the donation of $1,000 to Alabama's General Scholarship Fund. He was an easy choice. 3.94 grade point average in biology. He's upset because it was 3.95, but he got a B+ recently in ecology, and he teaches a biology lab to freshmen at the University of Alabama. Gets paid a $300 stipend for the semester for teaching that lab once a week. Had to been able to accept the money, but now he can with the new NCAA regulations. Travis Stevens out of the lineup at the moment. Travis Henry in at tailback, and he picked up the first down. Marcus Spencer and Tony Dixon made the stop.
You know, we saw Travis Henry against Georgia a couple weeks ago, and this guy will really attack a defense. I like his running style. He has no hesitation about him. He just takes it and heads downhill with it, and it goes after the defenders.
Less than 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Once again, Tennessee leaning heavily on the run today. Play clock has run out. That'll be a 5-yard walk-off.
Ball before the snap, ceding the 25-second count on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Tennessee is down to 1 timeout remaining, so if T. Martin was looking at the play clock as Phil Fulmer wanted him to, perhaps he made the decision he just didn't want to burn the last timeout.
If he made that decision, it was a good one. I think you saved that timeout. You've got a whole fourth quarter to play.
From the 25. Travis Henry has another first down. Tony Dixon and Kelp Bailey chased Henry out at the 45-yard line. 1st and 10 Volunteer.
Watch the fullback, Sean Bryson, 24. He leads on the linebacker. He makes the block, and that makes it possible for Travis Henry to get through that hole. Sean Bryson, a very complete player in the Tennessee offense. You give Travis Henry the praise for the run, but Sean Bryson the block.
Travis Henry has Will Bartholomew in front of him now at fullback. Martin on the scramble. Flag should be thrown in the secondary, and there it is. The receiver was tackled. Cedric Wilson the target, and he was pulled down by Kelp Bailey. And it took a while for the flag to come out, but it was not unnoticed by 107,000 plus.
There's no question he runs an out and up. When he goes to break up, Kelp Bailey grabs him by the face mask. In a way, it was a good play by Bailey because he was going to get beat for a touchdown.
Yes.
That's what's going to happen to him on that.
Not only was Wilson held,
you know, they may have thrown him out.
Well, that was certainly the old 15-yard variety face mask.
Same player, same play. Personal foul on the defense. It was also pass interference on the defense. 15 yards, same foul, first down.
I think that's a good call. Not only was it pass interference, but that's very dangerous when you grab onto the face mask like that and twist the player around and bring him to the ground. So he got penalized for both.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. He probably just meant to grab him and stop him any way he could, but that's flagrant right there. And like you say, you're dealing with someone's neck in that area, and that's dangerous there.
Well, it's not as much of a walk-off as I had anticipated. The ball only at the 40-yard line of Alabama. The previous line of scrimmage was the 45-yard line. So Tennessee netted just 15 yards in all of that. Philip Crosby and Travis Henry the backfield, and it's Crosby, the fullback, the junior from Bessemer City, North Carolina, for a couple. Let's get an update on the Miami-West Virginia game from Tim Brando.
Sean and Terry, you may have a Travis Henry or Travis Stevens, but how about Edger and James? 2 touchdowns rushing, and you can see he's a multifaceted back. Gets his first one in the air, 3 touchdowns all told. They're tied at 24 in Morgantown.
You had the feeling that would be a very competitive game. 2nd down and 8. Under a minute left, 3rd quarter. Tennessee leads by 10. And the balls are at the Alabama 38. Travis Henry close to another first down. Marcus Spencer and Tony Dixon bowled over as they pulled Henry down.
There's a reason why Tennessee is the best rushing team in the Southeastern Conference, and that reason is that offensive line. They can pull, they're mobile. Big number 75, Mercedes Hamilton, leads, makes a crushing block, opens an off-tackle hole.
Quite a close-up of Smokey. Philip Crosby is the fullback. The tailback is again Travis Henry. When you wonder about this Alabama defense, Phil Fulmer says one of the real strengths of his team is that big physical offensive line. They tend to wear down the opponents late in games. We saw it in Georgia 2 weeks ago. Perhaps we're seeing it again here today in Knoxville. The end of the 3rd quarter. Tennessee 21, Alabama 11. We'll return to Neyland Stadium after this message and a word from your local station. We welcome you back live to Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee. Sean McDonough, Terry Donahue, and Mike Mayock. Tennessee leads by 10 as the 4th quarter begins. It's 2nd and short at the Alabama 22. Travis Henry gets away from Reggie Grimes and has a first down. Down to the 13-yard line. And, Coach, we saw signs of it late in the 3rd quarter, what Philip Fulmer talks about regarding his offensive line. Late in the game, they can wear down the opposition, and Travis Henry helps with that, too.
And Travis Stevens. Both of those tailbacks, in the absence of Jamal Lewis, have really stepped forward. And Tennessee, quite honestly, doesn't appear like they've missed much. I mean, they still pound you, wear you down. And this is a game Philip Fulmer likes. He likes to be physical. He wants to control the clock. It's playing right into his hands right now.
We talk about the capable substitutes for Tennessee. Philip Fulmer said maybe not a lot of stars on this current Tennessee team, not a lot of 1st or 2nd round draft choices, but there are a lot of very good players in the program, competition at a number of positions, and that's healthy in practice.
He says it's really helped their practice routine, and this is the most impressive I think the Tennessee offense has been all year long, other than maybe the first game against Syracuse. They have moved the ball well. T. Martin has looked good. The running backs, Peerless Price makes a couple big plays. They look good.
Kelf Bailey is the injured player for Alabama. Let's take a look at the replay and see if we can discover what happened to him. He got Henry and one of his teammates who hit him on the way by. And it looks like he's okay, back on his feet and walking off mostly under his own power. And you can see again today perhaps the effects of the reduced numbers of scholarship players for Alabama wearing out a little bit here late, it seems. Here's Mike Mayock.
Hey, Sean, I don't know about you guys, but I got the feeling talking with Philip Fulmer yesterday that when he started talking about running the ball, he got a sparkle in his eye that I haven't seen for a couple of years. I mean, he's an old offensive lineman, and I think he was uncomfortable throwing the ball all over the lot like he did the last couple of years with Peyton Manning.
And this is back to the kind of football that he prefers, although anytime you can have a player like Peyton in your program, you're happy to have him. Peyton's in attendance here today. And Tennessee did not throw a pass in the third quarter. They had the one try. It was a pass interference penalty and the personal foul. So it did not go into the stats as a pass attempt. Officially no pass attempts in the third quarter for the Vols. Travis Henry down the 11-yard line, a gain of 3 on first down. And percentages tilted dramatically toward the run for the season. And again today, 35 rushes and 12 passes.
This in the second half, Sean, is probably the most telling statistics of all. T. Martin hasn't done much with his arm. He has with his legs, but they continue to pound away, ride their defense, play field position.
And run the clock. Travis Henry inside the 5. First down Tennessee at the 2-yard line.
It's a great block by Philip Crosby, the fullback. He's the man that led Travis Henry, and Travis Henry, he's the punisher of the 2 tailbacks. He's the power back. He's got great lower body, and he will run over you. Watch 21, Philip Crosby on the cut block. Makes a great block, opens that hole.
And Henry has a chance to have his first 100-yard game of his career today. He's up to 92 yards rushing on 14 carries. First and goal from the 2-yard line. Henry staggered a bit, taking the handoff, and he was stopped at the 1 by Cornelius Griffin.
Sean, this is a heavy offensive set by Tennessee. They take an offensive lineman, number 53, Toby Champion, and put him in as a blocking back, and he kind of leads the play. Now you're talking about a 6'4", 300-pounder, and he is the guy that goes ahead and leads those backs, and he kind of gets in there and mushes up in there and creates a hole.
Full house backfield again. Henry, touchdown. Travis Henry's first career touchdown.
Well, and Travis Henry at over 215 pounds is a load to try to keep out of there. When he gets that body lean in there, it's just hard to knock him backward. Just about like David Cutcliffe, the offensive coordinator, said. He said he can pound on you and wear you down, and sure enough, that's what's happening.
Jeff Ball added the extra point. 12:56 remaining. Tennessee now leads by 17. Busy day for the Tennessee cheerleaders. Push up for every point. 28 points on the board for the Vols, and a 17-point lead now for the undefeated number 3 team in the nation. Jeff Hall pops the kickoff straight up in the air. Chris Horn, backup linebacker, runs it out to the 28-yard line. Horn played defensive back and wide receiver in high school, so he's accustomed to handling the ball. Next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular, 4-time Boston Marathon champion Bill Rogers and Olympic gold medalist Joan Benoit Samuelson will be among the elite athletes to shine at the Sun America Runners Classic. The 10K and 5K events will be highlighted next Saturday at 2 Eastern. The CBS Sports Spectacular right here, of course, on CBS. First and 10, Bama from its own 28-yard line. Tied in need of points, and they need to score quickly. Look out, Zhao avoided Darwin Walker, and he made the decision to retreat. Wound up going down right at the line of scrimmage. Walker got back in the play after missing Zhao the first time around.
Darwin Walker is unblocked. He comes from that position. He just crashes through the defense, the offensive line, puts tremendous pressure, but good poise by Zhao. He pulls the ball down, fights back to the line of scrimmage. He had a chance to run down the left sideline, Sean, and Raynock Thompson closed that gap so fast. He just closed on it and shut it off for him.
No gain on the play. Second and 10 with 12 minutes remaining. Zhao Incomplete and almost intercepted by Al Wilson, who would likely have scored a touchdown, and he picked that one off.
Well, that was an ill-advised throw by Andrew Zhao that time. Al Wilson's floating around the middle of the defense. He's a UFO right in the middle. Hit him right in the hands. The fellas are going to be on him in the film room about those stone hands.
Wilson, a semifinalist for the Butkus Award to the nation's best linebacker, one of 10 players still alive to win that honor at the end of the year. It was won last year by Andy Katzenmoyer of Ohio State, who is one of the semifinalists again this year. 3rd down and 10. Zhao got the snap with 1 second on the play clock, and his pass is batted down. He had Samari Buchanan free over the middle, but it was batted down at the line of scrimmage by Darwin Walker.
Well, the Tennessee defensive line couldn't generate much of a pass rush, but at the last second, Darwin Walker will get his hands up. He's being double teamed in the middle of the screen, but he gets his hands up and bats it down. That's what you teach your defensive linemen. As soon as the quarterback goes to throw, Buchanan knew he was open in the middle.
And they couldn't get it to Shamari. He had the best game of his career last year against Tennessee. Shamari Buchanan had 6 catches in the game at Legion Field in Birmingham. Randall Pope's punt fielded by Eric Parker. And he gets tackled at the 36-yard line. A 48-yard punt and 11-yard return. Pope's had a fine day punting the football for Alabama. Tennessee is 5-0 coming into this game. 5-0 for the first time since 1992. The last time they were 6-0, 1969, when they started the year 7-0. They're very close to 6-0 now, leading by 17 with the ball. 11.5 minutes left. T. Martin throws incomplete. He threw on the run a little bit too high and behind Peerless Price. And it'll be 2nd down and 10. First pass attempt officially of the second half by Tennessee.
Well, his arm's probably a little stiff from not using it in the second half, but he had Peerless Price wide open. Just didn't hit him with the ball. Even T smiled and laughed about that one.
Interesting, with the big lead, they come out throwing. I think this would be even more of the likely situation to keep it on the ground and pound it behind that big offensive line. Martin taken down by Trevis Smith on a quarterback draw. They've had terrific quarterbacks here over the years, including Condredge Holloway. Let's take a look back at the Tennessee-Alabama game from 1972. Late in the game, Condredge Holloway scrambles. He's hit by an Alabama linebacker who escapes the spot shadow. That linebacker was Mike Dubose. Now the Bama coach. John Mitchell recovered on the very next play. Alabama quarterback Terry Davis scores the winning touchdown on a 22-yard run as Alabama won here at Neyland Stadium 17-10. And we still talk about that play when we talk to Mike Dubose and Condredge Holloway. Martin steps up, flag thrown in the area in which you'd expect holding. And Martin's down at the 41-yard line. If it is against Tennessee, that'll bring up 4th down and a punt, and it is a holding call against the Vols. Here's Mike Mayock with Condredge Holloway.
My former teammate, Condredge Holloway from Toronto Argonauts. And Connie, we just took a look at the play in 72. Explain it from your perspective.
Well, it was the quarterback draw, and Mike Dubose made a great play. It's a bad memory for me, but games like today make you kind of forget that. But it was a great game between 2 great teams that day, and we came up on the short end.
Bear Bryant once said you were quick as a hiccup.
I had a relationship with Bear Bryant. It was very good. He was very honest with me during the recruiting period, and I really respect the man a lot, but I'm glad I came to Tennessee.
Hey, Condredge, thanks, pal. It's been a great day today.
Thank you.
Condredge Holloway, now director of football operations in the Tennessee football program, just returned to Knoxville to join Philip Fulmer, his staff, under the direction of Doug Dickey, the athletic director. 38-yard punt by Dave Leverton. A 10-yard return. Condredge Holloway had been working in minor league hockey and doing a terrific job in this part of the country in that area. And back here in Knoxville, interesting play calling on that last sequence for Tennessee. You'd think a chance to run down the clock and pound. They came out throwing on first down. That looked like 2 design runs from T. Martin.
Yeah, it surprised me a little bit, particularly the way they handled the Alabama defense the last series and really kind of warmed down.
Zhao, the ball gets deflected straight up in the air, and it's an incomplete pass. His arm was moving forward. Dominique Stevenson put the hit on Zhao, and one of the few times today he's slow to get up despite the constant pounding.
Well, Dominic Stevenson comes on the outside blitz, and he's right in his face. Andrew Zhao takes it like a man, though. He really hangs in that pocket. I love him.
Well, the coach has said he does have a great deal of leadership skills, despite the fact that he is a redshirt freshman. Played on 3 state championship teams in high school at Union County in the Lake Butler, Florida area. Danger was first loss as a starting quarterback in high school or college today. Nice defensive play made by Andre Lott. Well, the backup cornerback deflected the pass away from Calvin Hall.
Well, it's great man-to-man coverage by Andre Lott. He's all over him. Alabama tries to throw a little fade pass. It's a good release off the line of scrimmage, but Lott plays it inside, and that's as good as it gets right there.
Andre's a sophomore from Memphis, sat out last season as a partial qualifier academically, so this is his first action on the field this year. And he's been a valuable member of this team as the 3rd cornerback. With 1 on the play clock, Zhao trying to set up a screen. He completes it to Dustin McClintock, and he has a first down out to the 46-yard line. 14 yards on the screen. Bernard Jackson, a defensive lineman, ran downfield to make the tackle on McClintock.
Nice little screen to the fullback, Dustin McClintock. He's been a blocker a large portion of the game, but he just runs a little underneath route, waits till the Tennessee defensive line penetrates, and then they lay the ball off to him. Makes a good run with it.
McClintock's from Quinlan, Texas. Looked like he was heading to Purdue out of high school, but Gene Stallings came in and stole them away. This Gene's from Paris, Texas. Not far from McClintock's home in Quinlan, Texas.
You know, McClintock is 260 pounds, too, Sean. That's a big fullback.
Kind of started this year with the departure of Ed Sisson, who was a fine fullback in recent years at Alabama. Calvin Hall, the catch, tackled by Gerald Griffin. Now, if you're Alabama coach, shouldn't you try to be in and out of the huddle a bit more quickly here?
Yeah, I don't think Alabama with their freshman quarterback is all that anxious to go into 2-minute offense, if you will, but certainly speed things up. You don't have all day now, and you're behind. You've got to get the clock. The clock's the enemy right now. Not only the scoreboard and the Volunteers, but the clock. Alabama
took how long it's taking just to get the play into the huddle. The play clock's at 15 now, and Zhao is just now relaying the information to his teammates.
Yeah, they've got to get it called a little bit quicker and get that thing moving.
They snapped it at 5. The inside handoff. Sean Alexander delivered a stiff arm, avoids another tackle, and gets out of bounds to stop the clock at the 32-yard line. We're about 1.5 yards shy of the first down. Roger Alexander, backup defensive end, made the tackle. Tomorrow, the NFL on CBS at 1 Eastern time. Baltimore and Green Bay, New England, Miami, the matchups. That's a key AFC East battle. Then at 4:15, most of the nation will see Jacksonville and Denver, Cincinnati and Oakland, Seattle and San Diego. The other games on the NFL menu on CBS tomorrow, beginning with the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines at noon Eastern time. Hosted by Jim Nantz. Alexander up to 128 yards rushing. And he'll add to that total as he picks up the first down to the 27-yard line with Jeff Coleman on the stop for Tennessee.
I've been impressed with the way Sean Alexander has played in the game today. Really competitive running. He's had a good afternoon against this tough defense, and with 24 rushes, 133 yards, that's a good productive day by him, and he needs to do that for this Alabama team. He needs to carry that ball 25, 30 times every week.
They list him at 6 feet 209. He looks bigger than that, has a running style that would suggest that he's a little bit bigger than that as well. Zhao, quick screen, Quincy Jackson. Short gain, he's down at the 25-yard line, and the clock is going to run under 8.5 minutes remaining, with Tennessee leading by 17 points.
Sean, this is a time maybe when Alabama needs to think about going into the no-huddle offense and trying to speed things up. Now you're getting inside 8 minutes, and now you've got to really score quickly.
Again, it'll take you a long time to get the play in. The play was brought in by a wide receiver, Eric Locke, and they're just now getting over the ball, and the play clock's under 10 seconds. It was at 3 as they snapped it. Locke looks like he wants to throw it. Now he has a lot of running room. Eric Locke banged out of bounds by Eric Westmoreland at the 10-yard line. 15 yards on the carry by the wide receiver, the true freshman, Eric Locke.
Well, Sean, sometimes things just don't work out right for you. Tennessee played this play to perfection. They have absolutely great containment on this side of the field. But Eric Locke comes underneath it, then sees a crease and just grabs it and makes a huge play for Alabama.
Locke was a quarterback in high school, and the Tennessee coaches know that very well because he played his high school ball at Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and was Mr. Football in Tennessee in Class 5A the last 2 years. First down, Alabama. Ivan Richard took the umpire with him as he went down at the 2-yard line. It'll be second down, and they can pick up a first down just shy of the goal line.
Marvin Richard was worth the scholarship that Alabama invested in him. What he does on punt returns, kickoff returns, and here as the tailback is impressive. This guy is a competitor.
It's hard to find in the crowd at 5'7", 175 pounds. It is a good drive for Alabama, but they're using up a lot of time. Second down and 2. They could get another first down just shy of the goal line. Alexander tackled by Raynoch Thompson. Again showing his quickness. He was behind the line of scrimmage almost immediately after the snap.
Raynoch Thompson is like a rocket out there. He has such speed to knife down inside an offensive team. The guy comes, he loves the outside creases. He's an outside rush guy, and he can really penetrate your offense.
Tennessee leads by 17 points, 6.5 minutes remaining. Third down and 2 for a first down, 2 for a touchdown as well. Zhao is going to try to run for it. Touchdown, Alabama.
Alabama runs a play action pass here, and Andrew Zhao just never could find anybody open. Tennessee did a good job. They covered every eligible receiver, but because of his athleticism, he just keeps stretching it, and all of a sudden he sees that goal line and makes the play for the touchdown.
And they'll kick the extra point, try to get within 10. Ryan Flugner adds the extra point. 2-yard run by Zhao, and it's a 10-point game after a drive of 4 minutes and 7 seconds. A 10-point game with 6:14 remaining. Tough decision here for Mike Dubose, coach. The onside kick with all 3 of your timeouts remaining, down by 10 with 6:14 left.
Well, Tennessee doesn't think they're going to. Tennessee has put a normal return team in there and not their hands team. They don't think they're going to onside kick. Otherwise, they'd have 9 or 10 guys up into the kicking area. They think Alabama will kick off and then use their timeouts. I believe Alabama will kick the ball deep.
Mark Wisniewski will kick off. Peerless Price, who took one back 100 yards, is back deep, and they do kick it deep. Very deep, in fact, and Price will take an E about 6 yards deep in the end zone.
Now, Sean, one of the strategies becomes for Alabama, I've got 3 timeouts. When do I use them? Do I use them defensively or do I use them offensively? And one of the things I think you have to do is you have to get the ball back. So if you make a good stop on 1st and 10, it's not too early to use a defensive timeout. Your offense doesn't need timeouts. They need time.
The last drive for Alabama resulted in a touchdown. 11 plays, 68 yards. but it did consume 4 minutes and 7 seconds. Cedric Wilson in motion. Travis Stevens is the tailback, and he almost lost the football as he broke free from the tackle. He turned it into a fine play, a 9-yard gain. Cornelius Griffin credited with the stop.
Alabama, in an attempt to try and stop Tennessee's running game, has 8 guys up on the line of scrimmage. You can circle them. They're all right there. They're designed to try and get that ball back, try and stop that power running game of Tennessee's, and yet Tennessee picks up 9 yards against 8 defenders.
Still 4 yards rushing. In this decade, they've lost only twice when they've rushed for 200 or more. Alabama stops that play short of the first down. Jamie Carter at the bottom of the pile to make the hit on Stevens. Carter's the young man we mentioned earlier. Arrived at Alabama weighing 350 pounds. Couldn't even finish the sprints at the end of their practices last year. And played very little each of the last 2 seasons as a result of his physical condition. But he's dropped about 50 pounds. He says the biggest key was to give up hamburgers. He also said that was the hardest part of it. Travis Henry, they go to the bigger power back on 3rd down in the yard. Big play here for the Bama defense. Henry stopped short of the first down.
Now Alabama ought to use a timeout right now, Sean.
I agree with you, but there's no indication, and the coaching staff is not even trying to get their attention to call a timeout.
The Alabama defense really penetrated on this particular play. There was great penetration by the middle linebacker, Travis Carroll. He's the one that disrupted the play, number 44. He gets in there and causes that havoc there.
Well, that's not what Philip Fulmer's been seeing from his team. The offensive line, the backs have been picking up those short yardage plays late in games on their way to that 5-0 start. Marvin Richard back for the punt from Leverton. Richard caught it at the 37. Returned it to the 40. And I agree with you, Coach. Alabama lost another 25 seconds or so off this game, maybe 30, by not calling a timeout there. There's a flag down on the punt return. Kevin Gregory, the long snapper, made the tackle on Marvin Richard. And a personal foul against Tennessee. So a big break for Alabama. They'll get 15 yards, and they'll begin this series in Tennessee territory.
Dead ball fall, personal fall on the defense, 15 yards, first down.
.358 remaining, 3 timeouts left for Alabama, and they'll begin this possession at the Tennessee 45-yard line.
Alabama just won't go away, Sean.
Nope.
They just are hanging in there.
Zhao under pressure, going deep down the middle. Incomplete. Quincy Jackson was running with Steve Johnson. Well, those field goals missed. Loom large again. Tennessee has missed 2. Alabama has missed 3.
Mike DuBose is going to be awfully proud of his football team regardless of the outcome of the game, because they have not quit in any phase of the game. They've continued to compete. They're right in the game. They're making it hard here on Tennessee at the end, and it just won't die.
2nd and 10. They played a solid game, a clean game. Avoided the penalties and turnovers, but Alexander couldn't avoid the defenders. Eric Westmoreland and Raynoch Thompson. And now Wilson a little tired as he went to get back on his feet. And Wilson is back to his knees again. Well, you can see what Mike DuBose has been talking about. Most of the talent in this program is the younger players. They don't have a very talented junior and senior class. That was the group that was most affected by the scholarship reductions. And you do get the sense another good recruiting year or 2, and this program is right back in the right direction with guys like Zhao as the nucleus.
No question, because they've had 2 really strong recruiting classes and 1 more, and now all of a sudden you've got that strength to rebuild.
10 true freshmen have seen action this year, and 5 redshirt freshmen. 22 players in all seeing their first game experience this season. And that's a bunch. When we asked Mike DuBose if he was confident he'd be back next year to continue this process, I'm not sure. No one has given me that indication, but most of the people we've talked to around the Alabama program believe that he will be back for at least one more season. On third down and long, the screen pass dropped by Freddie Millens. The true freshman seemed to be looking up the field before he caught the football. And on fourth down, they'll have to go for it. Fourth down and 11.
Yeah, that could have easily been a 4th down and 5 situation if Alabama had been able to hang on to the football there. That was a completion for positive yardage, but they just dropped the ball.
Alabama 1 for 1 on fourth down today. Three out of 5 on fourth down this year. Must convert situation for the tie. Just a 3-man rush. The pass is deflected and it falls incomplete. Corey Terry got a hand on it. And Tennessee takes over on downs at its own 46.
Tennessee just came with a 3-man rush. They didn't bring pressure, which is a little bit uncharacteristic. Corey Terry, the right defensive end, is being double teamed in this area, but he gets his hand up, knocks the ball away.
Alabama still has all 3 of its timeouts. Travis Henry is the tailback. He's a blocker on a quarterback sweep for T. Martin, and he's out of bounds, a yard short of a first down. He's out at the 44. Among those in attendance today, one of the most highly recruited high school quarterback prospects in the country, Chris Sims, who is the son of our CBS Sports colleague Phil Sims, the former outstanding New York Giants quarterback. Chris Sims being sought by schools all over the nation, and Chris chatted with Mike Mayock for today's game, said these are the schools he's considering most seriously right now.
A lot of people feel he's the best high school quarterback in the country. You know, who knows, but a lot of recruiting services have him ranked as the top guy.
And with more on Chris Sims, here is Mike Mayock.
And Sean, what a great looking kid he is. About 6'5". You could tell he's going to fill out to about a 230 prototype quarterback. He's left-handed. He separated his right shoulder this year in preseason practice, but at Ramapo High School still 6-0. They won last night 70-0. And Chris said, hey, we're number 6 in the USA Today poll, and we'd like to move up a little bit.
And with the rules and regulations regarding the recruitment of high school athletes, we've been asked not to show Chris on camera today. We'll take Mike's word for it. He is an impressive physical specimen, even as a high schooler. Flag thrown probably for a late hit. Travis Henry was tackled by Trevis Smith, and a flag came in late.
Now, T. Martin took a real hit late. This is a good call by the official.
John Gilbert, the referee, threw the flag and went back to get it.
Personal foul on the defense, 15 yards, first down.
Time now for our CBS Sportsline stat of the game. For complete college football coverage, go to cbs.sportsline.com. Play selection. The interesting numbers today. Tennessee even more reliant upon the run than it has been previously this season. That's our CBS Sportsline stat of the game. Timeout, Alabama.
He was inspired by the romance and ritual, the way people came together.
Low 70s. McKinley and Johnson, same formation in the backfield. Kennedy Johnson, shorts out of the field and run down in a hurry. So he only gets about 3 yards on the carry. Don't forget, tonight on ESPN, showdown for first place in the ACC as Chris Winking, Peter Warwick lead Florida State into Georgia Tech. Face Joe Hamilton of the Ramblin' Wreck.
Change, a solid foundation, is the key to success. The 12 institutions comprising the Southeastern Conference form pillars of academic and athletic excellence. For more than 6 decades, the SEC's commitment to teamwork and achievement has provided the foundation for student athletes to become the leaders of the next millennium. The Southeastern Conference, a proven past, a promising future.
1st and 10, Tennessee. Ball's now just trying to run out the clock. Will Bartholomew, the redshirt freshman, carries for just the 3rd time this year. He's from a great football family. His grandfather, Sam, played here at Tennessee back in the late 30s and was a team captain for the Volunteers. And Will's dad, also named Sam, played football at Army. Will's quite an athlete himself. In 1997, he was the state wrestling champion at a 21-0 record. He finished 2nd in the state in the shot put, and he was class president 5 straight years at Montgomery Bell Academy.
Wow, 5 years.
5 years in a row. He was a dynasty, a political dynasty, in addition to being a terrific athlete. Another timeout called by Alabama with 2:17 remaining. The Tide left with 1 timeout. Here's Mike Mayock.
Hey, Sean, while we're on the topic of great high school quarterback legacies, how about Eli Manning, brother of Peyton, son of Archie, playing for Newman High School just outside of New Orleans. He's also one of the most highly recruited kids in the country. They won 28-0 last night over St. Bernard's. He threw for 136 yards, 1 touchdown, and he also rushed for a touchdown. So let's face it, if you're David Cutcliffe, either one of those kids would be a great addition to this ball club.
Indeed, Chris Sims or Eli Manning. Second down 9. Martin rolls out and slides to the ground. He had to make sure he stayed in bounds. Marcus Spencer put a hand on him and got credit for the tackle, and Alabama uses its last timeout. 28-18 Tennessee with 2:09 remaining in Knoxville. On the orchestra.
In a world of constant change, a solid foundation is the key to success. The 12 institutions comprising the Southeastern Conference form pillars of academic and athletic excellence. For more than 6 decades, the SEC's commitment to teamwork and achievement has provided the foundation for student athletes to become the leaders of the next millennium. The Southeastern Conference, a proven past, a promising future.
Terry, these have been very difficult times for the major football programs in the state of Alabama. We talked briefly earlier about Terry Bowden resigning at Auburn last night. And then we talked a little bit about the situation involving Mike DuBose. Personally, I hope that Mike DuBose does get at least 1 more year, because he walked into a very, very difficult situation with the reduction in scholarships. And it looks, as an impartial observer, that they are heading back in the right direction.
Well, and he's Alabama homegrown. You know, he's part of the university system and their heritage, and I'm sure that he'll be back at the University of Alabama. He needs one good recruiting year. He's going to, I think, turn this thing around.
Travis Henry went out of bounds, something he did not want to do on 3rd down and long. He went out at the 19-yard line, 5 yards short of the 1st down. And it's 4th down. We'll see how Philip Fulmer elects to play it. Will he just go for the 1st down? Will he kick a field goal?
Oh, I think he'll just go for the 1st down here and probably run the ball.
Don't want to run the risk of a blocked field goal, which could lead to a very quick score the other way.
You know, it's nice when you're winning ball games. Travis Henry there made a terrible mental error. But when you're winning, those errors don't seem quite as severe. And so they can be able to take him and tell him, hey, next time keep that ball in bounds and let the clock run.
4th down and 5. They need to reach the 14-yard line. Martin throws on the run. Nice catch. 1st down, Tennessee. Cedric Wilson out of bounds at the 9-yard line with a big 1st down, thwarting whatever last-ditch chance Alabama had to mount a miraculous comeback.
Well, it's a nice play by T. Martin coming off the play action fake. He sprints out, finds wide open. And it's a good call by Tennessee. It loosened up the defense, and now they can run the clock out. They've got the game salted away.
Cedric Wilson's at the best day of his career. 6 catches for 76 yards. Last year as a freshman, he had 7 catches the whole year, and this season he had 6 for the entire season coming into this game. He's at 6 today. That's Travis Henry again. Here's Mike Mayock.
Sean, 1961, Bear Bryant beats Tennessee in the locker room after the game, hands out cigars. Thereafter, every cigar-smoking locker room was synonymous with a big win. 3 years ago, Phil Fulmer beats Tennessee, same thing, hands out the cigars. What do I think? I think Phil and the fellas are going to have a good time tonight.
We can't control that guy, that Michael Mayock.
He's just out of control. 2nd and goal. Under a minute remaining. And that's a touchdown for Travis Henry.
Travis Henry's had a big day for Tennessee. He's made his presence felt with this final touchdown of the afternoon.
Henry's had the biggest day of his career. His first 100-yard rushing game. 113 yards now and 22 carries. And 2 touchdowns for the sophomore from Frostproof, Florida. Jeff Hall's extra point is good. And with 54 seconds remaining, the Tennessee lead is back to 17 points at 35-18. And they will indeed be passing out the cigars in the Tennessee dressing room. Hopefully they'll be more expensive than the ones Mayock tends to favor.
We can't take that Mike Mayock anywhere. I mean, he's wild down there.
Well, last week, actually 2 weeks ago in the last game for Tennessee, was Travis Stevens, who had his first career 100-yard game as the primary substitute for Jamal Lewis. Today it's Travis Henry, the other half of the Travis tandem, over 100 yards for the first time in his career.
This guy is a big power back, Sean. He's strong, and he can punish you and wear you down.
He rushed for more than 4,000 yards in one season as a senior in high school.
Well, you think of the Tennessee team, you lose Jamal Lewis, you know, most teams it have been a crushing blow for him, but Tennessee, they showcase Travis Stevens against Georgia, now showcase Travis Henry against Alabama. They're deep.
And you think back to all the players Tennessee lost from last year, with Peyton Manning and Marcus Nash. Zarvin Richard on the kickoff return out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Somebody threw a football out of the stands that came bouncing into the play, but fortunately none of the players stepped on it. Well, Tennessee, in what some thought might be a rebuilding year with a very difficult early schedule, is now 6-0 with this one safely in the win column and still in command in the SEC East. Well, they lost so many good players from last year, but both coaching staffs said this week they think this Tennessee team is better than the Tennessee team of a year ago. Sometimes when you lose a key player or two, like a Peyton Manning, the other players pick up their level of play and all rally to the cause rather than sit back and wait for the marquee players to do the job.
Well, and they talked about everybody contributing. That was a big theme with Tennessee, that everybody on this team and somehow or another contributes to a victory.
Updated West standings, big game tonight in Baton Rouge between LSU and Mississippi State. Zhao throws to the far sideline to Calvin Hall, and he goes out of bounds with 16 seconds left.
There's a guy that's had a good game right there, Sean T. Martin. He's performed well today.
Phil Fulmer said he won't start thinking about those BCS rankings until the 9th or 10th game of the year. He's through the 6th at 6-0, seemingly with a favorable schedule ahead. Zhao dumps it off through the hands of Sean Alexander. Well, some of those games that didn't seem to be very difficult or looking tougher now with the performances in particular of Arkansas and Kentucky this year. But obviously Tennessee is going to be a healthy favorite in every game it has remaining. The two toughest games, Arkansas and Kentucky, are both home games here at Neyland Stadium.
Yeah, I think Tennessee, you look at the schedule, every week is a dogfight. It's never easy to get there. But Tennessee certainly has a favorable schedule to run the table and come into the finish line undefeated.
8 seconds left. Zhao has played courageously today. His pass goes through the hands of the receiver, and it's intercepted by Steve Johnson. And then he got drilled by Sean Alexander. And that's the last play of the game. Team Martin and the Volunteers now 6-0 after a hard-fought 35-18 victory over Alabama. Mike Dubose and the Crimson Tide now 4-3. Here's Mike Mayock.
Hey, Coach, all week when we talked to you and your players, everybody talked about chemistry. How special is this team?
I think this football team is really special. We're not supposed to be this good, but as I said, somebody forgot to tell the kids. They've just played their rear ends off. We found ways to win. We were improving offensively, making more plays. You know, we're playing without our best offensive player in Jamal Lewis and still getting it done pretty darn good. I'm proud of this bunch.
How about a cigar or two tonight with you and the fellas?
We've got a couple. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big win for this team.
Congratulations, Coach.
A big win indeed for undefeated Tennessee. Final score, Tennessee 35 and Alabama 8.